Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nocturnal Nerdcast, Pop Culture in the Dark, the number one out of all the millions of podcasts in the world that come on after 11:32 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. At least that's what I like to tell myself when I come in to get hyped up. In the house tonight, starting out, surprise, surprise, we're going to start on the bottom level. We have Darren on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. How is your vacation going? I've seen some pictures. It looks like you're having fun.
It's going well. But I've been getting stir crazy, and I was like, maybe I can hop on one of these.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Ironheart first because we got a bunch of red carpet stuff to talk about, so I think that's going to be fun. Which it comes out, 3 episodes come out tomorrow.
Yeah,
so,
crazy.
We'll have those
How's
episodes
my audio, by the way, because I am on my phone.
Oh, it sounds good to me.
Okay.
Sounds like phone quality.
Well, I mean, but I'm not hearing a lot of background noise, so that's good.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we have 3Dub here. What is going on, 3Dub? How are you?
Slow day. I basically got done with giving blood to a doctor.
Okay, so have you had any sort of orange juice or anything like that to help get the
No.
blood sugar back up? You're supposed to do that after you give blood.
I literally went to get Fanta at Burger King, so that was my orange juice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Okay. You got something. That's good. Naruto says that Darren and 3Dub have switched places.
I literally had to fasten for 16 hours, which was terrible.
So no Domino's pizza?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh my God! Look, it's Darren. Look at him.
It's Darren after dark.
We have a really nice hot tub over here as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay.
We won't be getting in that right
now. So the other thing is, you know what I saw today? How to Train Your Dragon live action. I went and saw it this afternoon. It was sold out this weekend at my theater. Remember, I have a small theater, so it doesn't have a lot of seats, and I was going to go see it over the weekend, and they were sold out. That movie's going to do really well. I'm curious to see what it's going to end up doing at the end of its run. But I saw it with 4 other people. 2 of them had never seen the cartoon, and they were crying. They were crying at the movie, and I was like, if this made you sad, go watch the cartoons. You have to go watch them immediately. Anyway, I thought it was okay. I still like the animated one better, but I thought it was good. So, much better than Snow White was into the new live action version of that. So, hey, what's up, Anthony? Hello, Serenity, Screwface, Chris, Jose, Naruto, everybody. Good to see you. Okay, so before we get started, there is a goal. It is a teal super chat goal, 10 of them, teal in your area. We are looking at this number right here, which is what I'm trying to get to in the next week, which is for my cat surgery. If we don't get here, this is fine, but any and everything would really help. So, and you guys have been amazing this month. So, yeah, there we go. We have a few things to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about Rachel Zegler. We're going to talk about Ezra Miller. We're going to talk about Johnny Depp. We got so many articles to talk about. We're going to save that for the back half, though. A lot of the fun stuff early. The first hour, we're going to talk about obviously Ironheart. We're going to talk about DCU Batman news and some other little sound bites here and there. Possible Black Panther 3, which I think is kind of interesting. Anyway, we do have a super chat here from Cameron getting the ball rolling. 1 out of 10. Thank you, Cameron. $5 super chat. So it says, Eric, have you seen the Godfather of Harlem show that got Forrest Whitaker and Vincent D'Onofrio and Giancarlo Esposito? No, I haven't seen that. Godfather of Harlem? Is it what is it on? Is it on HBO or Netflix? Where is it at? Be much appreciated if you could point me in the right direction. I'll definitely check it out. I mean, it's got 3 people that I really like in it. So, Electric said, I misread the title as Rachel Zegler fighting Ezra. That would be an interesting movie, right? Right? I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu. Okay, check it out. Short car. I will be sending out, it was supposed to go out today, but I went and saw a movie instead, so I apologize. But I'll be sending out invites to all channel team members. So if you're a channel team member on Reloaded or on Debunks, you will have a couple of weeks early access to the Discord server. And that's any tier. So if you just want to get access to the server and you want to support the channel as well, you can pick the any tier on any channel. And I think they start out at $2, I think is the lowest tier. So if you want to become a channel member, it will be put out linked into the community tab for channel members only. You'll get a special designation for being a channel member, which means on the Discord you'll have features that other people don't have for being a channel member. So if you do want to get that early access or whatever, you can go ahead and support the channel for like I think it's like $2 a month or something. I forget how it's whatever the lowest tier is for YouTube. I think the lowest tier you can do is like $1.99, something like that. So you can click I think it's subscribe plus now. I keep saying join button, but I think it says subscribe plus on the channel. So if you subscribe plus, you will have early access to the Discord server. Some people are already there. Darren and 3Dub are already over there right now. So I got the bot up and running, so all that's good to go. So yeah. So Godfather of Harlem started in 2019. I didn't even know about that show. I do have that bookmarked. We got a bunch of little like news tidbits, like things from this past week to talk about.
It's been a good week. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've had to like look at it all while you're on vacation, so you haven't been able to like cover all of it. Jake's in the house. I don't know if he's there or not. He turned off his camera, but he's there. So.
I'm here. Sorry, my StreamYard is a little fucked up right now.
Okay.
So am I still coming through clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you. I saw you earlier for a second while you were on, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's coming through, but here, no, I can send you a thing right quick of how StreamYard looks on my end, and you'll see what I mean when I say it's fucked up.
Why? Like, you have the worst luck with StreamYard, I swear. Like, it must hate you or something. Don't think of it.
I really don't know, but here, look, I just sent you a thing of what it looks like on my end. I just took the picture with my phone.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, like I can't see either of you guys. You see that?
Hold on, let me see. What is happening?
I don't know.
Is it like is your video card going bad or something? I mean,
I don't think so.
Do you have like weird. A bad connection? Or are you hardwired or doing wireless?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Same as I always do every week.
That's weird. All right, so hopefully you can still hear, because we can hear you. So hopefully you can hear us okay, and that way you can at least participate, even if you can't turn the cam on.
I can turn the cam on. I don't know how it looks.
It looks normal for you, so
yeah. I can't, like, right there where I am on the thing. I can't see myself, but
didn't you have an issue one day where it's like you were completely invisible to yourself, but we could all see you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that happened one day.
Okay, I'm gonna give this thing a reset right quick and see if that fixes it. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right. Okay, so while he steps away, we're gonna go ahead and jump into some red carpet stuff from Ironheart. Look, nobody can make me mad at this show. I've seen so much negative news about it. We also have some early reactions about the show, and I think most of them have been pretty good too. We'll read some of those. If I'm spotty tonight, it's because Death Stranding 2 is out in 20. Oh, it is? Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting. All right. So let's see here. Here's the suit, or one of the suits on the red carpet. I like it. I actually like it a lot better than the one in Wakanda Forever, to be honest.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But that was kind of on purpose, though, too, right? Because that like the suit in that movie is kind of supposed to look a little bad because it's our first suit ever, which is why I never really got the complaints of it. Where it's like, it looks so ugly. I was like, yeah, that's kind of the whole point.
I mean, if you look back at Iron Man, his first suit, his Mark 1, was ugly.
Yes.
But it was also comic book accurate.
But also, he had a lot more, like, at his disposal. Or I guess,
he had less.
Well, the first one, yeah. But he had like Mark 2. He had like so much at his stuff. Like, he was rich and he had all of these resources. He has like multiple companies at his disposal.
I don't know. I really like it. I do like the boots are definitely larger and wider than any of the Iron Man boots. That kind of sets it apart a little bit. So also, I think it's a little bit less bulky in the midsection, which makes it a little bit more like a slimmer design.
So it's not CGI. They went back to practical.
Well, I don't know if it's practical. Jake has returned. Did it fix anything?
Oh my God! It got worse.
Oh no!
Holy shit! What is happening?
I don't know.
I can't.
What browser are you using, by the way?
Chrome.
Have you tried using Firefox to see if you're getting the same error?
No,
If it might be a Chrome browser error.
I typically don't use Firefox.
Well, I wouldn't say use it, but I would say you might want to try a different browser just to see if it's Chrome that's causing the problem.
But I mean,
Microsoft
no joke. I just sent you a second image. Look at how much worse that is. Look at how much worse that is.
Hold on. Hey, Danavox, good to see you. Oh yeah, it is. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is happening.
Yeah, I would say if you want to see if it's on your computer side, try another browser, because if it's the browser, you will know that it's not your video card or your camera.
Yeah, I'll run that through our. All right. Oh, take 3.
Okay, we'll be here. Anyway, it's so I don't know how much of it's practical on set. Like, this is a mock-up of what it is. Like, this is what it.
Right.
If it were in real life, this is what it would look like, right? But I think the one thing I like what we've seen so far on the preview is that it's not nanotech, which I think is good. So yeah, there's another shot here. What is over here? That's just the poster, and we get to see. Oh wait, no, you get to see some of the looks here. All right, I guess it's just one of the casual outfits, probably. I think it's one that we see her wearing in the trailer. Classic car from the show.
I thought it was her like Batmobile or something like that. Her Ironmobile.
Oh, you get to see like this is all of her like workstation stuff, all the cool things she's using to build the suit. Oh, they have little treats there and everything. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll end up on one of these red carpets. We'll see how that goes. Any thoughts on any of that at all, or
It looked cool.
Opinion?
It looks cool. It's this whole thing really did just sneak up on me though, because you went from like, oh yeah, the show comes out soon to this comes out tomorrow.
Right.
I
Can't
believe it.
How long are the episodes? Do we know what the episode lengths are? Like,
No, I would assume it's probably closer to that like 30-minute runtime, because it's still under that same original template, or like at least the original announcements where they were like 36-minute episodes kind of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe they're longer.
I was gonna say, so if they're longer, we're looking at like almost 2.5 hours of television if they're like 40-minute episode lengths. But if they're shorter, it's going to be about like an hour and a half, which is fine.
Less.
But look, it's such a weird thing to do 6 episodes at 30 minutes each.
Yeah.
At that point, just make it a 2-hour movie. I don't see the point in,
Especially if they want her to continue. Like, it doesn't make much sense to me to have her return in Avengers 5 and maybe 6 and not market her show. That just seems like a very strange thing to do.
Or she's going to have a very quick, like, cameo type role. We're not going to see a lot from her.
Weird.
But here we get to see, this is the Hood's costume from the show, which almost looks like, how am I going to put this? It looks like one of those like preparatory school uniforms with a hood on it. Like, it reminds me of like Umbrella Academy or something. I'm not really sure, but it's got like an old school vibe to it. I think we saw a little bit of it in the trailer, but most of it was like from the chest up. So we didn't really get to see the whole thing. It looks okay. I'm not, I don't hate it. It's not well, again, these are just standing in like on a mannequin. So we don't really get to see them in motion. There's not a lot to go on there. We have some more stuff here. Let's look at some of these red carpet interviews to hear what they have to say. I had a couple of these bookmarked here. So this one here, they're asking Ryan Coogler about what's going to happen with the series as time goes on here. Let's see.
Mapping this all out, planting the seeds in Wakanda forever. Was this series always on your mind to spin off?
No. I like to take things one step at a time. And with Wakanda Forever, we were looking for a character who could be a foil to Shuri, someone who could represent Shuri's transition between 2 films. And the first Black Panther, she was the youngest person in the film. And this one, she had grown a little bit older, so we wanted somebody who she could mentor, who she could look after and be almost like a big sister to, and also a character who could deliver on the promise of that first Panther. somebody who could represent the types of people that T'Challa and Killmonger were advocating for, protecting, that lived outside of Wakanda. So Riri became an example of that for us. And then as we got into making the show, we were approached by Zoe Nagelhout and Brad Winterbaum with interest in making a television show around the character. So we were down the road, and then that opportunity came up. We were really excited about it. It was obviously complicated. We wanted to make sure that we were leaving enough room while establishing, who Riri was. But it's been so exciting, man. We got the opportunity to hire some incredible talent behind the camera. Shanaka Hodge, our head writer, going with the film school with, also from the Bay Area, from Oakland. Sam Bailey and Angela Barnes as directors, who've been working in television, making some incredible episodes. Shows like Atlanta and Insecure and many others. And we really got to let them put all the room and craft this incredible story. And it's also our first time that the MCU is featuring the great city of Chicago. It's been 30 movies and all these television shows. We haven't seen that the jewel of the Midwest just yet. So I was really honored to be able to be a small part, of making this happen.
Whoops, let's pause it there. Actually, let's not look at this. I don't want to leading forward. Jake is returned here.
All right. Finally! Holy shit! All right.
What did you do?
I had to relaunch my graphics accelerator.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. I was like, wait, before I go through all the trouble of doing this the hard way, let me see if this works. Thankfully, it did.
Well, that's good to go.
We're back. All
right. So this is really interesting. We have a lot of the people on social media and YouTube that attack these shows so heavily. As you hear Ryan here naming off all of the moving elements to make a TV show happen based on a character introduced in a movie, for me, it gives you a bit more appreciation for the work that goes into these shows, whether they're successful or not. You look at something like Secret Invasion, which I think was a failure, primarily due to conception and execution.
How dare you? It's my favorite show.
There's still a lot of people that went into trying to make that show a success. So it does sort of bring you back a little bit to, who does the blame fall on when it comes to these things? I mean, do you look at the top end and go, it was the production's fault, they're the number one people in charge of everything, and so they made all those mistakes? Or was the ball dropped or the torch was dropped as hands passed for each step of the way through making the process? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, we've heard a lot of these stories over the last couple months of a lot of things were very weird around the era of Black Panther 2 and when the show was kind of coming out, and Kevin Feige wasn't really there. And we've heard a lot about some of the best projects being the projects that were led by people with very capable hands. And as I hear Ryan talk here, it's just I always love hearing how much he loves art and how much he loves filmmaking. And
he's a true artist. He is a true artist.
He is a true artist, and if Marvel, they better keep their hands on him. They better not let him slip through their cracks. Obviously I want him to do other stuff too, but post Black Panther 3, I hope he can stay on, even if it's as a producer, even if it's just as a voice to be hey, you should do this. I hope this isn't his last show. I hope this is Black Panther 3 isn't his last movie, because he is so good. He really is.
Well, something you really don't see in Marvel that there's really no reason why they aren't doing this, I don't think, is, just because you have a director that does, one of these sub-franchises, if you want to call it that, handles one of the characters, that doesn't mean they can't do more than that. Just because you have somebody like John Watts doing the Spider-Man movies doesn't mean you can't have him do other stuff. He was going to do Fantastic Four before Matt Shakman was brought on.
Right.
You can have Ryan Coogler do other characters. You can have...
he could have done Blade, but he knocked Sinners out of the park, so they're definitely not going to put him on for Blade.
Right. No, he could have done Blade. Trying to think of another example. I mean, they're kind of doing that because you have Daniel Destin Cretton, who did Shang-Chi. He's doing Spider-Man Brand New Day. So they're starting
along with Wonder Man.
Yeah, Wonder Man also. So they're starting to break that mold a little bit, but I would like to see that more.
Well, that's kind of what Marvel has been doing. It's once they find talent, they keep it. They're oh, you made a really good movie. Let's keep it going. We have the director of Thunderbolts is now doing the X-Men. It seems
right, and they're bringing the Russo brothers back to the Avengers film.
But they're keeping the Russos in that one cage. They haven't done anything except Captain America or Avengers movies. I mean, granted, they got their start with Captain America.
I wonder if they're doing that because it's like a proven thing for them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they can handle group movies, so why give them like something else?
Yeah, they were
you
brought
know.
back because it was borrowed trust. You know, yes, it is familiar. You can say, oh, you know, like, well, we wanted someone new. They probably spent years trying to find someone new, and they couldn't.
Well,
And-
I think the Russo brothers really lucked out in a lot of ways. And look, I know they're very talented, but I'm going to say they lucked out because Joss Whedon would have continued to do the Avengers movies if
Yeah.
things wouldn't have gone the way they went. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because even after the Russos were brought onto the scene, Joss Whedon still did Avengers 2.
right.
I think it's Avengers 5 and 6. I think we're going to see something, and it's something I've been thinking for a while. I do wonder if it's not necessarily that the Russos are great directors, which they can be for sure. But I'm wondering if it's that combo of the Russo brothers plus Kevin Feige together. That secret sauce is.
Them probably with Marcus and McFeely are probably what really make that combo.
I think it is sort of like it's more of a team effort because Electric State. Look, I didn't hate Electric State. I don't think it was a great film. I didn't hate it like a lot of people hated it. I think it is exactly where it belongs to be, which is on streaming. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the reality of it. But I think the Russo brothers, they sort of understand the Marvel brand, and that makes a difference. Like, they when they branched out from the Avengers stuff, I think they purposely tried to do something counter to what they were doing with Marvel, and it just didn't really work out for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not everything has to work out for everybody. You know, filmmakers and directors, they have their things they're good at. They have their things that they're not. But, you know, letting some of them, you know, go out and experiment a little more isn't a bad thing.
Shang-Chi is like one of my favorite Marvel movies from that phase.
Oh, yeah.
He says true.
If the third act would have been cleaned up a little bit, then it's like, I really still like the movie. That third act kind of brings it down for me a little bit, but it's still really good.
The funny thing about... Oh, go ahead, 3Dub.
I really like the bus scene. That's like my.
That's a really
favorite.
great scene. I wish they wouldn't have spoiled it in the trailers. They did spoil a lot of it in promos, but
yeah.
So the X-Men thing is weird because I believe since the name hasn't been debunked yet, it probably is almost semi-confirmed in that way. But it was also funny to watch Bo DeMeo kind of go really hard on this and then walk it back. He put out a tweet where he was like apologizing for going after Jake. Because he
went after you.
No, Jake. Yeah.
Then he put out another fucking thing. Like, I can't remember who was coming out. It might have been Feige or just Marvel. Period. But it was like another backhanded comment towards them. It's like, you're not doing yourself any favors.
So my issue with that is, and I know, let me go off on a tangent here, and then we're going to do the super chats, and we'll move on to the next clip. But one thing that really bothers me. Oh, wait, did Darren drop out?
Yeah.
It might have just been his service.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that really bothers me is 3Dub with his camera on today. Oh,
You missed last week too.
Oh, is when people attack rumors, because what happens is you might be attacking someone who hasn't done anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, a really good example is when Hunter Schafer keeps getting fan casted and everything, right? And then everyone goes in and starts talking shit about Hunter, and it's like, she hasn't even been cast yet.
No.
And you're attacking her on social media over a fan casting or unconfirmed reports of her being cast in something. And so that person gets dragged online for doing nothing. They didn't do anything. Could you imagine, Jake, you're just living your life and somebody's like, hey, Joypad Jake, I heard that he's going to be responsible for fucking up Batman. Oh, shit. Now you're getting dragged on social media because that was a rumor. You know what I mean?
They weren't supposed to know that, Eric.
It's supposed to be a top secret.
Yeah, so Anthony said he attacking Jake for no reason. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so the thing that got me about Bo DeMeo was when he was attacking him on social media about the possible like rumor that he had been hired to do the movie, he started talking about white privilege and shit with this guy who it wasn't even confirmed. And he doesn't even know the guy. He has no clue about anything else other than his own feelings about being blacklisted by Marvel, which has he's kind of made it impossible for them to work with him because everything that's happened, he's just dug his heels in.
Yeah, and he's going the Liefeld route.
It's one of those things where I'm like, look, if, like I said the first time we heard about all this, if he's being honest about what happened, I feel really bad for him. But it seems like every opportunity he has to prove his innocence and all of it, he just doesn't do it. So it's really hard for me to go, yeah, I believe him. He hasn't really provided any evidence. It's all been hearsay. So it is what it is. He keeps going hard against him. He's fucking his own career up at this point. Yeah, Short Car here says, saw DeMeo say X-Men 97 Season 2 has been changed from what he wrote, but he still thinks it'll be great. I think as we get closer and closer to the release of X-Men 97 Season 2. Oh, Darren has returned. Welcome back. What was that? Yeah, welcome back.
A new pick.
I guess he's not on vacation anymore.
I think as we get closer and closer to the release of X-Men 97 Season 2, Bo will have to choose whether he's going to try and make it harder for himself again by going tripling down, quadrupling down on what he says, or whether or not he's going to try and, play nice with Marvel and see if he can get back in their good graces. Again, I have to make this very clear. I don't defend corporations. Corporations are not people. They're not human beings. They're companies. So there's no point trying to defend corporations. But in this industry, we realize, still on vacation here, we realize that there are certain rules that they kind of make people play by, and it's really difficult for one person to change those rules. They've tried many times. People have tried to destroy Hollywood. They've tried to change Hollywood. I think probably the Johnny Depp stuff we're going to talk about might dive a little bit into like how Hollywood has changed a little bit, but it still is one of those things. It's like, it's not about how much work you put in or how good you are at your job. It really is about how you stick and move through the industry. And it happens in my career too, as a DJ in my area. Yeah. Like, I have to sort of play by stupid ass rules to get gigs and things like that, because you have to know people. You have to like contact people. You have to bug people all the time to get bookings and stuff. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is.
And I mean, speaking of somebody who went through film school and, does what they can to get on productions that are in my area or otherwise every now and then, you're not always going to like the people that you're contacting for work.
Right. And it doesn't make it right. It's just that's the reality.
Yeah. And you just, like, if you want to make a career out of those things, you just kind of have to grin and bear it.
All right. We got 3 super
Darren,
chats
that's
here.
terrifying.
We got 3 super chats. So we are 4 out of 10 already, you guys. You're amazing. When we reach the goal, I will put the poll up. That's how it's going to work tonight. All right. Have you seen Millie Alcock's new miniseries show with the $5 super chat? She has a new show
on Netflix, I think. Yeah.
Does anybody know what is it called, Cameron? Tell me what it is so I can watch it. I'd love to go watch it.
Cameron's told me like twice and I forgot already.
It's
Sirens.
Oh, that sounds about
That's
right.
it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
that sounds about right. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll see what it's all about.
Right after House of Dragons.
Thank you. Cody with the $5 super chat, any channel member. Thank you so much, Cody. Remember, if you want to get early access to the Discord, you can join any tier of either channel, Debunks or Reloaded, and you'll be getting early access in the next 2 days. And then you'll have early access for at least 3 to 4 weeks before it opens up for everybody.
Woo!
Cody with the $5 super. You can come in and talk with Jake and 3Dub and Darren and all of us. Today is also the 10-year anniversary of Tom Holland becoming Spider-Man. I didn't realize that.
He beat out Asa Butterfield, yep.
Oh, I forgot that was one of the casts.
He's the longest running
that was like
Spider-Man, too.
He and Tom Holland were apparently, it was thought that they were in the running against each other for a while, but Marvel knew that it was going to be Tom Holland quite a bit before they officially announced it.
So, is there a reality somewhere out there where Tom Holland didn't get the job and we ended up getting a different Spider-Man?
I mean, we almost had that reality.
Hell, I mean, if you go back to the Amazing Spider-Man days, what the hell is his name?
Andrew Garfield?
No. Well, duh, but I'm not talking about that. Damn it, he's in Hunger Games. What's his name?
No.
Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson. Yeah.
He there's test footage of him auditioning for Spider-Man back around.
He wouldn't have been bad.
No.
I think he would have been solid.
Wouldn't it be funny if in Secret Wars or whenever they decide to do Battle World, all of the possible Spider-Man actors that have been auditioned over the years come in and actually play Spider-Man portion of the movie.
Or like all of the characters.
Spider-Verse 3.
Have their,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Or like all of
And
the
then, like-
forgotten characters too that are in like the really bad.
There's gonna be a
projects.
lot of
Talking,
pointing
you
use.
know, I'm talking like Matt Salinger, Captain America.
Oh no!
That would be funny. Come on, like nobody would get it, but it'd be funny as hell.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that
Mhm.
before Tom Holland, we were very close to getting a Ezra Miller Spider-Man. I heard
Oh,
that
wow.
was on
Oh,
the
no.
Oh,
that was on the docket, of course.
We really Keanu Reeves Matrix dodged a bullet on that one because that would have been like, oof, that would have
Oh
been
my
rough.
gosh. That's
Spider-Man breaking into homes. Never mind.
Cameron Walker with a $5. We do have some Spider-Man stuff to talk about, actually. Cameron Walker with a $5 super chat. Today is the 10-year anniversary of Batman Arkham Knightscape. So wait,
Yep.
today is the anniversary of like 2 different major comic book crossover media things. Like that's crazy.
I got a 10-year
day.
celebration video coming out about that tomorrow.
It's pretty wild. So we're 4 out of 10 super chats on the Reloaded channel. You guys are amazing. We've still got a
Wanted to get
couple
that out
hours.
today,
So
but life happened.
thank you. Like you guys really, it was really funny last week. Like we hit the goal within the first hour. It was pretty crazy. Look at the view. Look at that.
The View. I don't want to watch that shitty talk show.
How,
Kidding. Kidding.
how hot is it outside, Darren?
That's an old joke.
It's earlier. It was 97.
Right.
Damn. Wait, you're kind of near me, aren't you?
Right now, I'm in Tennessee.
Oh, okay. So that's like
Closer to me, probably.
it's like 6-ish hours from me.
Yeah. So here is Ryan Coogler talking about Black Panther 3. It's a very short clip, but it's kind of exciting here what he says.
Black Panther 3, where are you on it?
Working.
Okay.
Yeah, working.
Oh.
Black Panther.
And that's all we get, that he's working on it. That's pretty... Look at the smile on his face here. Like, he's really excited to get to, like, wrap up this trilogy. I actually think the film will go on beyond 3 movies because there's just so much more territory to cover with Black Panther and...
Yeah, Black Panther's not a
he's-
person, it's a mantle.
Yeah,
So he's directing it?
absolutely.
Yes.
Like 100%. Like, they would be really stupid to not write a check for whatever he wanted to make him direct this movie.
Yeah.
Like, that would be really dumb.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious to see where Denzel ends up in all this.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Jake,
Yeah.
he's Magneto, right?
Ha! Ha!
Darren, why do you think I shut that down? Not because he wouldn't be good in the role, but because he's being written in for this, so that takes him out kind of by default.
It'd be so crazy if he shows up as that character.
I was
Listen,
watching.
if
Out
there's
of all
one-
movies.
If there's one X-Men / mutant character that shows up in a Black Panther movie, it's not going to be Magneto. You know who it's going to be.
Storm.
Kitty Pryde.
Okay, so here he is. Kitty Pryde. Here he is talking about spectral magic. So I don't think, did anybody know that that was going to be the term they were going to use, spectral magic? I don't remember hearing that anymore.
For what?
For Ironheart.
Oh, is that the term they gave it?
It's what this is titled, so I'm assuming he's, I haven't watched this clip yet. Let's watch the clip.
Look, it was
Your
a,
idea.
no, it was actually the idea of Zoe Nailhoff, who was a creative executive at Marvel. Her and Kelsey Liu were our creative execs. And she had this idea that came from the character of the Hood and publishing. And I mean, it's so crazy to be putting this movie out now at a time where AI is on the front of everybody's mind. Technological ethics are on the front of everybody's mind. But also when the MCU is gearing up, we didn't know it was going to be Dr. Doom in the Avengers when we first started. But he's the guy in publishing who's most famous for fusing technology and magic. So it's a great sample of things that are coming. Probably is going to be the biggest movie.
Oh, that's really interesting. So he doesn't say spectral magic, but I'm guessing that's what they call it because it says it here in the tweet on Deadline.
Well, he said spectral magic. It made me think of Dr. Spectrum, the character. I
Right.
doubt that has any play into it, but I mean, maybe.
So this is crazy to me. When I've talked about Ironheart quite extensively on the Debunks channel, so I've done several videos about it. By the way, if you're not subscribed, head over there, subscribe if you want the controversial, edgy content. But yeah, I talked about Ironheart over there, and I said that Dr. Doom is the character that does like the magic and technology fusion. That's what he's really known for.
Right.
So we're getting,
especially in Secret Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting a little bit of this in Ironheart. And the fact that he mentions Dr. Doom by name tells me this might actually be more important than what we think it is.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit better about that because that means that they're at least, they're setting the building blocks for that to go into that movie. Now, granted, a lot of people probably aren't going to watch this show, so it won't, be as clear for them. But at least they're laying that stuff out so it doesn't feel so random when you get to the movie.
Yeah. I think even if less people watch the show than what's expected, the thing is, I think this is going to be our first real sort of like dipping our toes into the blending of magic and technology in a big way.
Yeah.
Because they talked about it in Thor. Obviously, it's mentioned at the very beginning of Thor that like magic is just like a different form of technology, but we really haven't seen it fused in the MCU in the way it's going to be done at Ironheart.
And Doom would be the one character to do it.
Yeah.
I think
tinfoil hat.
Mm-hmm.
Tinfoil hat. Just because I know the answer is no, but I want to put it out there just in case by somehow it does happen. Any chance we get either a tease or him himself in the show, like a Downey cameo in the show?
Oh.
I don't know. He's done a lot of like promotion for this though. He's done like 3 different comments about the show.
That's what I've been saying. Like they've been really marketing him connecting to the show, which obviously is just to help it out.
Look,
but honestly, like it also hit me as like they've been putting it off for a while. What if there's a reason? Maybe they knew.
Marisu says Ryan seems fully briefed on Doctor Doom and how he fits in. Like maybe he knows like what the plan is with Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
Maybe. It'd be cool.
Even if he doesn't show up physically, maybe there's like a mask, or maybe there's a little something to be like, oh, something's coming.
Or like you get a Latveria mention or something.
Yeah, but if that's the case, why drop it in 2 weeks? Like why rush it out if you're going to literally build up the Doomsday within the show? Like if this is the first build.
I think they're worried about the show not being a success, but I don't think that means that they like cut corners in the show. I think the show put their best foot forward. I think it's more of like the studio sort of like trying to move beyond the show, I guess, at this point. But look at this red carpet. This is a pretty big like event for. Because I remember there's been a couple of Marvel events where they didn't even do red carpets for them. They're doing a red carpet for the show. Show.
Yeah.
And which has a show ever gotten that before? In the MCU anyway?
Some of the Marvel shows did early on, yeah, like some of the earlier ones.
I could not remember.
But this is proper like red carpet. 3-Dub, what were you gonna say, by the way?
I forget. It's been
Lance, we're gonna look at a couple of the early reviews. Honestly, here is Dominique talking about the Riri interacts with spectral magic. Let's hear what she has to say.
The woman of science. How does she deal with spectral magic?
Well, that's what we're getting to see on this ride. We're getting to see someone who knows where to find the answer, knows that she can trust the answer because it's science-based. So we're beginning to understand how Riri engages with the more mystical side of things. We definitely see her family, her mother try to kind of welcome her into that in a very rudimentary way and also a really spiritual way that she is not at all interested in. So I think it's a hilarious journey and also a really tempting journey that we see her go on once
she's being very careful about what she says
of the magic,
because y'all know how Marvel is. Like she's like, if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna be in big trouble. So she's being very quiet about it. Any thoughts on that, on like her thoughts behind the show and any of this?
Makes me wonder if she's going to reveal, like there's going to be something that makes her reveal that she's Ironheart to her family.
Maybe.
There's no secret identity with their family, just like Miss Marvel.
She was talking about the whole bit with the spectral magic, and because of her introduction in Black Panther, Wakanda has been known in different iterations for housing a type of ancestral type of magic with its connection to other planes of existence.
That is true.
Of course, it's the heart of vibranium. And I wouldn't be surprised if they use that as like a basis, maybe even get like, a cameo from some Dora Milaje members in the show. Probably won't happen, but it'd be cool to tie that in. But they could use Wakanda as a basis for that to, say that, hey, we didn't just put her in this movie to advertise the show. There was actually kind of a in-universe reason that we put her there.
So since Javici is engaged now, I'll replace her with Dominique. Well, I mean, you're married. So what difference does that make? What difference does that make?
One other thing I think is kind of interesting, and like this is only rumors, so like take all this with a grain of salt. But like this week, there's been like several things that have come out, and like they're like the next phase after this one will focus a lot on like the like supernatural of it all. It'll be a lot more focused on that stuff. I know, obviously, I don't know how much of that to believe, but if that is true, like Ironheart.
Did you say Iron Fart?
I did on accident. Yeah, Ironheart would be a great foundation to that, or like to the next era of the MCU, especially with like if there's a lot of supernatural, but there's also going to be a lot of science-based stuff with Fantastic Four coming. Even with like the X-Men coming, there's a lot of science-based stuff that connects to those characters. So, like again, it's one of those things where I wish they weren't just pushing this out. I wish they were treating this more as like an event, and like in some ways they are, but in just the way they're putting it out, it's like this could be such a good foundation for what's to come.
Like a big old fart.
Eric Crashes, I hope all the pointless hate from certain people doesn't get through. I don't think she's even like really talked about it. I didn't see any quotes from her speaking about it. I actually think at this point, like where we are now, not that you shouldn't denounce it, but I think she's being very smart about like, I'm just not going to even talk about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because really, what's the point in publicly engaging with it?
Yeah, because what happens? They'll just make videos about whatever she says about them. That's just what's going to happen. So,
I would imagine if you're signing up to work at Disney at this point, and you're a woman, especially a woman of color, you kind of know, hey, don't go on the internet.
Yeah.
I assume their managers, I assume Kevin Feige, but the people on the higher up, they're like, hey, just delete everything, stay off it, don't listen to it. It doesn't matter. Just focus on you. And if that's not what they're doing, they should.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go through a couple of different like early reviews of this. I've looked through several of them, but I picked 3 out that I think sort of give like a sort of like idea of what everybody's saying. So Adam here goes, I can talk about Ironheart now. I've seen all 6 episodes. I'm a bit surprised Marvel didn't market this more. Okay, that's pretty a pretty good assessment there. It starts pretty strong and gets better and better as the series progresses.
Whoa.
More to say in our reactions coming this week. So I'm this, and again, this is a one tweet, but I looked through several tweets and a lot of them sort of echo the same thing, that they're surprised that Marvel didn't put more effort and energy into marketing and promoting the show. So
I am at least glad to hear that this is a series that supposedly gets better and better, and not like a number of the other Disney Plus series from way back where it starts good, has a messy middle segment, and then some of them end well, some of them don't. So
here's another one from Maggie. It was the first 3 episodes of Ironheart are out, and as your resident Marvel cynic is here to say, it's quite good. It's a shame the series has been in flux because Disney Plus has something great on their hands. Dominic Thorne is pure dynamite. Aiden Eldenreich is brilliantly cast.
Wow.
I mean,
I really do think it was just Fantastic Four. Like, I think that's what they were really worried about. They didn't want 2 Marvel things going on at the same time. Their schedule is so packed where almost every month there's a new project coming out. So they're like, how can we get this out this year and not compete with Fantastic Four?
Well,
and they're like, 2 weeks.
Well, after Fantastic Four, there's not anything until November, right?
Yeah.
So
something...
a lot of sorry, hold on one second. A lot of people in the industry pay for Twitter. It's just I would never do it, but a lot of people in the industry do. So.
Isaac, Wakanda's August, I think.
It's August. I thought that was later in the year.
Yeah. So just for the record,
it's August.
For the record, I picked people that are tied to like publications. So Maggie is part of Collider, and the next tweet we're going to look at is somebody from everybody's favorite publication, which is Screen Rant. So a lot of times their companies pay for them to be pro on.
Okay, yeah, it's August. I was wrong.
So.
Yeah, I think the only month where there isn't something coming out is September, because it's this in June, Fantastic Four July, Wakanda in August, and then September's off, and then October's Zombies.
Yeah.
Is there anything in November?
No, I think November's empty.
When's Vision
Wonder
Quest?
Man? And
Vision Quest is next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fetman, I think some people saw 6, some people saw 3. I don't know how or why that happened, but I'm seeing varied reports that some people got 3 episodes, some people got the whole season.
Yeah.
So,
I assume the premiere would be the first 3, and then people who got screeners got the full 6.
Right.
Is what I would assume.
So the next one we're going to look at is Rob Keyes from Screen Rant, and he has an actual thread about this that we're going to read through here. So he goes to say, I watched all 6 episodes of Ironheart, and it deserves your attention. It's better than most recent Marvel Studios theatrical releases, which is not surprising. It's a Ryan Coogler production.
Right.
This one is one of the rare good MCU TV shows. Dominique Thorne is a star. Peak production values. No idea what it's leading to, but I'd like more. Goes on to say here, what's most interesting about Ironheart is that it gives Marvel the cinematic universe a young and complicated character who makes questionable decisions, balancing emotion with genius-level intellect. Her future could be more interesting in comparison to Tony Stark. Iron Man, I hate... Look, Rob, I don't mind you saying this, but this is bait right here.
What? You know what? I'm not even going to do it.
Look at the first reply to his tweet. You lost me the moment you compared the character with Tony Stark, Iron Man. It's bait. It's bait. There's no point in even saying that, even if it's honest, because people are just going to go and run with it.
Yeah, it probably wasn't even honest. It might have just been put there to rile people up, for God's sake.
Yeah. One of the several reasons. Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
Sorry. Go ahead and finish it. It's fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the several reasons Ironheart was delayed for so long is this one needed to be great for Ryan Coogler to have his name in the largest on the poster. Worth the wait. Well, actually, coming out after Sinners was a benefit for the show, which they could have vastly marketed it with, but they didn't.
Right.
The timing works out well with what's going on in the MCU and IRL. One more thing I'll say about Ironheart is it really embraces the comic book source material more than you'd expect. Sometimes the goofier elements of the action or certain character moments clash with the more serious and emotional beats, which is, I mean, that's a fair criticism. Some people don't like the humor in their drama or whatever. But anyway, Darren, what were you going to say?
I was just thinking, do you think if this was a movie, if they had made this into a movie and Ryan Coogler was at the head of it, and they actually marketed it as this Black Panther spinoff, and you marketed the whole Tony Stark of it all, even though that's not what it is, obviously that's what they would do for marketing's sake. Right. You think this would make money?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so. Well, I mean, I don't know about now specifically, but if it would have been closer to right after Wakanda Forever,
right?
Probably,
right?
Probably,
yeah.
Only because of the character. But I don't think that's a problem for the TV show. I think the TV show could have been marketed 100% as hard as they wanted to market it, and it would have been fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to say here, Rob replies to this, I've said comparing their very different arcs would be interesting. I take it you don't read comics. I mean, you can give people sarcastic replies like that. They just don't care, to be honest. I wish we weren't at that point, but that's where we are with a lot of this stuff.
If I had every time I saw the phrase, you don't read comics. Jesus Christ.
So anyway, Ironheart comes out tomorrow. 3 episodes this week, 3 episodes next week. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, I will be talking about it on Thursday. If you're not watching it, you don't care about spoilers, don't worry about it, but I'll be talking about it on Thursday. Any final thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
That's a cool photo.
It is a
cool photo.
Anyway, so the next thing I want to talk about is Blade, briefly. So Mahershala Ali actually, there's 2 Blade things we're going to talk about. Now that I think about it, I have another thing bookmarked, but it's not going to take up a whole segment here. Anyway, it's a very brief video, but let's
Blade's updates. Let's get into it.
We're back.
We were really hoping to see soon. When will you start filming Blade?
Call Marvel. I'm ready. Let them know I'm ready.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Look, I want to say there's a high probability when Blade does roll around, he's not going to be Blade anymore.
I think
because that was one of the biggest problems that they ran into. Instead of writing the movie and then casting an appropriate actor, they announced Mahershala Ali as Blade, and then they have since tried to write the movie around him, and that's really shot them in the foot.
Yeah.
Wonder if there's a problem with him being Cottonmouth and him being so good in that role that people recognize him.
No,
they don't care.
Over half the people probably don't even know he was Cottonmouth.
We're at a stage they don't give a shit.
No, I mean Marvel's always been so nonchalant with their 2 actors playing like one minor role versus a major role, or like big recast. They've always been nonchalant with that stuff.
Well, I mean, I think the reality is that they could have put Blade into the multiverse and brought him over, and then that would have explained it away. Like, because he's a variant. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, they did that with Cable and Thanos.
I mean, they could do it with anybody they want at this point.
Yeah.
Until after Doomsday, or until after Secret Wars. Michael DeFonte here, a channel member. Thank you so much. A good way to support the channel is clicking the like, thumbs up. You heard it from Michael. If you haven't done it yet, you should probably do that now. It goes a long way to help growing the channel, and it's free. Yeah, you can do free support. If you can't afford to do anything else, and you're not watching ads, and you just want to help support the channel another way, you can click on that and help. Yeah.
I do think...
Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
I do think we're going to hear something soon. I do, and maybe that's just me being very positive about the whole thing. But like, I think we're slowly starting to hear news about some post-Avengers projects. We're slowly starting to hear stuff about X-Men and stuff like post. What would it be? Phase 7. And I do think that this is going to be one of their main priorities after Avengers. I do think that they know that.
I want to say this. So Candle says, didn't he have input on the script? Yes, he was one of the big reasons why the scripts kept getting passed over.
Yeah. They were... Isn't that also what led them to bringing in Michael Green to rewrite it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, almost all of those were because Mahershala didn't like the direction or whatever. Look, he could have been right, but he could also have been wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible. I do want to point out, though, that what you were saying, Darren, does kind of make sense, because as we get closer and closer to Doomsday and Secret Wars, Marvel knows what the next steps are going to be. Like, they're going to have a clearer vision of what the next phase is. And X-Men is going to be there. I think we're going to see a lot of... Look, Blade, this is the reason why I'm surprised they haven't jumped on Blade. Let me pitch my Blade thing here, is Blade would be a very inexpensive movie for them to do. They could do Blade for like $100 million or even less.
They did it for like $60 million back in the day.
They could do that. They could get it out. They could make it a more R-rated film like Deadpool. Give Blade like a full-on like R-rated treatment if they wanted.
No.
I don't know, maybe PG-13, but I think they could go R-rated if they wanted to. If they're going to go a lower budget. Yeah, you can do a lower budget, go R-rated. Then you don't have to worry about getting your money back. It's attached to big names like Mahershala and pick a big director, someone out there that's doing something big. Pick the villain as a big name actor, and just go in with like a low budget and give us a really good, solid street level vampire movie. I think that's what people want from this.
Hell, I know he's already doing Spider-Man, but I would have kind of liked to see Daniel Destin Cretton tackle Blade.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead, Darren.
Sorry. I also think it'd be such a perfect like opener to Phase 7, right? Because like my ideal openers for like new sagas would be like something smaller, something low stakes. You could make it this like period piece if you wanted to, re-exploring this new kind of history of this new world that we're kind of jumping into, and something that feels simple after the like bombasticness of Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like I think it'd be a really nice, like, soft opener to like everything.
You mean kind of like how Black Widow followed up the 2 Avengers movies? Wait.
I don't know. I actually think people were pretty excited about this from the beginning. But here goes. Original Blade director David S. Goyer says he reached out to Marvel Studios to help with the new Blade script and was turned down. I had my agent call Marvel and say, do you guys need any help? And they said, we love you, but we think we've cracked it now and we're in a good place. I don't know.
I'd be so pissed.
So look, I liked Blade 1 and 2. 2 is my favorite of the Blade films. I didn't care for 3, but I think 3 had other issues outside of like... It felt like a movie they were being forced to make because of the success of 1 and 2.
3's not good, but it's fun. It's at least a fun bad
If
movie.
you take Ryan Reynolds out of it, it's not good.
No.
Like, he's the best part of that movie.
I mean, my personal favorite is 1. I love 2. 1 is probably still my favorite, but no, I mean...
I really love 2 because I like the design of the new vampires. That's my favorite.
The new vampires, they look great in that movie. I mean, there's an argument to be made that 2 is probably a better movie than 1. I just like 1 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 has more iconic scenes in it, I think.
Yeah, like the opening blood shower.
Yeah.
God, I love that so much.
Let's see here. What else do we have?
You really see how much of an impact Wesley Snipes had as Blade. You know, like especially coming back. in the Deadpool and Wolverine, the people who were at least somewhat familiar with that character were all excited to see him back.
So I want to share this bit of news here. Hold on, we'll see where I'm going with this. So I've been seeing this shared a lot on Facebook, and people are talking about this. I just want to remind everyone here, and if you stumble across my video and you've never watched my content before, Ryan Gosling will never play T'Challa in the MCU. And the really crazy thing
anywhere.
is that this account literally says it's got 56,000 followers.
This account is bullshit.
The best source for Marvel Cinematic News and tweets. And this is what they put out. This. It's got, look, 10.4 million views.
You might as well have scam likely written across the top of your banner.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Anthony says David hasn't written a good movie in ages. Talking about David as Goyer.
Oh.
Darth says, they cracked it. Where's the movie, guys? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this will never happen. These kinds of things are so inflammatory, it's ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right, so let's move on and talk about. Let me find the tweet here.
I would have liked to see David's Green Arrow movie that he was working on back in the day.
Would have been interesting, I think. All right. Here we go. James Gunn gives positive update on the DCU Batman film. So I put this in the title and it's the thumbnail because I kind of want to really dive into this because I am so frustrated with this Batman stuff right now that it's really getting under my skin. So I'm going to rant a little bit about this. But it says James Gunn shared DC is working with a writer now on Batman, Brave and the Bold, and it's going really well. He insisted he was very involved in the process of that film. The single story is the most important thing, and then that's followed by the larger overarching story. So he's making it sound like the individual story in the movie is the most important thing, but then it's also the overarching story that's extremely important.
There might be a little more to that statement. Maybe this is me looking too far into it, but it could be talking about the individual character arcs of this Batman and Damian. That could be what he's referring to as single stories versus the overarching plot of the film itself. Could be what he's referring to, but I don't know.
I mean, maybe. My issue is, though, we've just got the news. Remember he did the interview and he talked shit to like the people that were asking about the Batman, basically calling them entitled and being very kind of short with them and everything. And then you come out with this news and I was so mad that this was even said because, like saying over here, Anthony says, who is the writer? Who is this person?
It hasn't been told yet, has it?
No.
It's not Andy, is it?
I mean, that was the last name attached to it, but I don't know if that's been confirmed to still be the person writing the treatment.
He's directing.
Yeah, he's just directing. I don't think he's doing both.
Interesting.
It's just one of those things where
it's coming. Just let us take our time. Take our time. I'm simply already tired of talking about this movie. This has
this might actually be the last video we do on it for a while, unless they come out with some big news. Because we get teased every week about this. Every fucking week, there's some new statement where he's talked about or he's mentioned it. I mean, he's obviously doing press for Superman, so people are just asking him about like other things that are coming out. But we have this issue where if this is all you're going to give us, why even give us this? Why even say this? You make it sound like it's such an important thing, but you can't even tell us who the fucking writer is? That's why it feels like a lie. Like, I don't want to call him a liar straight up, but it feels like there's something not being said about this. It's going really well. He's very involved in the process of that film. Working with a writer now. Is it because he's writing the movie? Is he writing it? He might not be directing it, but he never said he wasn't going to write it.
Yeah.
Do writers often get withheld from revealing information about like future projects?
I mean, the thing is, typically you announce writers when the thing is in pre-production because you want to go ahead and get people sort of excited for, I don't remember a time where there's been a writer attached to a big project like this where you've had one of the most transparent studio guys like James Gunn, who just tells you stuff whenever he feels like saying it, be so secretive about it. And this makes me wonder if Andy is still directing, but James is actually writing the movie.
I would not be shocked if he at least has an outline for what they can and can't do for that, because I almost feel like you have to, as someone who's on kind of like front lines, and he is the one kind of being like, okay, we're hitting this, and this. Batman's a huge piece of that puzzle. Batman's a massive piece of that puzzle. So I would not be shocked if he's like, okay, here is the general story, do your thing. But that's also what he kind of criticized the MCU for doing. So it would be a little hypocritical if that's the way they go about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish we just... Again, I know he's being asked this by people in podcasts and interviews and stuff like that, but I just... Give us more than this. Say, this is the writer I'm working with, and things are going really well. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be a good thing to do, because now we're in an issue where anybody, like I just said, James Gunn could be the writer. Any scooper out there could be like, James Gunn is writing the new Batman movie and blah, 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 whatever. And nobody knows because he's not saying the name of the person.
Yeah.
And that always leaves a door open for that kind of stuff to happen.
And all you did was just throw that idea into hypotheticals land.
Yeah. Well, I don't take credit if a scooper comes out with it. I'm not saying he's doing it. I'm saying that he said he's writing something else and that it's not a direct continuation of Superman. What if this is that thing that he's writing? Because he never said what that was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said a couple weeks ago, where I said, and again, we would hate it, but what if it is a Batman movie, but Superman happens to be in it for 10 minutes or something? He's in a little bit of it, so it's...
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Short Car. If there's no deal, is the writer doing the job for free? You know what I mean? That doesn't... No offense to you, but that doesn't really make sense to me. What writer would be working directly with James Gunn on a high-profile project and not getting paid for it? You have to have a deal to write something.
Yeah.
So the writer has to be connected somehow, unless it's James himself, and then he's just paying himself to do it.
Is he working with himself?
Maybe. Sharani says, based on what he said in this interview on the DC podcast, James is pulling back and giving out a lot of information. He's going to be less transparent going forward. He explains why he has changed. I mean, look, I'm not shocked if that's the case.
No.
I'm not shocked about that. But the reality is, if James Gunn was hired because of all of the things that makes him James Gunn, and some of that starts to get peeled away, at a certain point, people are going to be less interested in him as a director, him as the head of a studio. Because one of the things people loved about him is he was so back and forth on social media. That's one of the things people liked about James Gunn. So if he pulls back from it, he could be losing some of the good grace of his loyal viewers of his content. You know what I mean?
Does he get paid extra if he directs or writes it? Because it feels like that he would be doing it for free if he...
No, he wouldn't be doing it for free. Absolutely not. He's getting paid to run the studio, and then he would also get paid something for the projects he works on.
Okay.
He wouldn't be doing any of it for free, I don't think.
And if he's in the case of Superman, it would be a little bit more because he is directly at the helm for it, but for other projects, a lot smaller of a profit would go to him comparatively. Also, a nice Batman shirt, Eric.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I see you're wearing your X-Men shirt tonight.
Oh, this is just a Wolverine shirt. I've got 2 X-Men shirts over there. I've got two X-Men shirts and 2 Wolverine shirts.
I just double-checked here. So right now there's no public salary figures for James Gunn, so we don't know exactly what he's making. But his net worth went up by $50 million after the deal was made.
Yeah.
So doesn't mean too much, but those kinds of numbers do become public, even if there's no actual public contract. Keep in mind, they've only signed a 4-year deal starting in 2022. The deal was only a 4-year deal.
And 2 of those years are already up.
Yeah. And to answer your question, 3Dub, his compensation goes beyond a base salary. He gets his pay as DC Studio co-CEO. He gets separate writing fees for all of his shows and movies. He also gets separate directing fees and separate producing fees. So everything is separate.
Yeah, and then Safran gets another piece of that pie too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Just want to double check that. All right. So I think we're good with that. Let's talk about some other DCU news. So Eddie Gathegi says his role as Mr. Terrific is kind of an undoing of the wrongs of Darwin's death in X-Men First Class.
God.
I know as it stands right now, this isn't the only DCU project I'll be in. I mean, yeah, I kind of figured Mr. Terrific.
I'm glad he's at least self-aware of those wrongs done to him in X-Men, though.
All those memes.
So I want to talk about two parallel scenarios, right? So in X-Men First Class, they show Darwin being killed because they want to show that even a character with the ability to adapt could still be killed by the antagonist, right? That is what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Except that's literally his power.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally his power. Like, it's not a situation where you're showing that you're more powerful than somebody else by brute force or whatever. It was showing that his mutant power was faulty, even though it shouldn't have been, simply because you're trying to show the power of the villain of the film. That's what happened there. It's one of my least favorite parts of that film because I love that movie.
Yeah. So why did he die? One word: plot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
On the opposite side of that, you have the beginning of Infinity War where Hulk fights Thanos, and you see Thanos beat Hulk physically, and it just knocks him out. Right. That's how that battle goes. Right. That is the case of showing the threat of a villain without killing off a character or breaking the immersion to the point where some people are just not going to believe it. Darwin dying is beyond the capability of what his powers are in the comics. The Hulk getting beat up is not the first time that's ever happened.
Right. And like on the whole breaking immersion side of things, sticking in the vein of Hulk, when you get to something like Captain America Brave New World, they broke the immersion there a little bit more by having Sam go up against the Red Hulk alone because, they want to say, oh, and he's got something to prove here. He has to do this by himself, even though the whole point of the show was that he didn't have to do it alone. But it was one of those situations where you could not, you could not suspend your disbelief as to what was going on.
Right.
And they wrote it to the point where they're like, oh, why is this happening? Well, because we want it to. We're not going to really come up with a reason, but just because.
Yeah. Shortcar says, what I meant was maybe the writer's being paid to write a script, but he's not confident he's going to move. No, definitely not.
So, no, because then you run into a Matthew Vaughn, Halle Berry situation.
Yeah. So the issue is that he says he is working directly with the writer and it's going well. So at that point, if I were the writer and I weren't getting a contractual amount of money from them, I would say, wait a minute. You went on a podcast, you said the work is going well. I need to get paid for my work right now. I need you to give me a check right now, if that's the case. Also, if there is sort of a clause where the writer could be let go at any point, that means they can't use any of the writer's work. They would have to completely throw it out. And I don't see that happening either.
He's working directly with the writer by looking in the mirror and seeing himself.
Exactly. Naruto, that's one of the bookmarks I have. We will talk about it briefly, about Cobra Kai and stuff. All right, we have another bit of news from the DCU, and then I think that's it for the DCU, and then we're going to move on.
There was you had wanted us to make a list for today, right?
Yeah.
For 2000 animated films.
Okay.
And a list of MCU powers.
Yeah, but we were going to wait to do that when Darren gets back from vacation.
Oh,
so just wait for
he's
that
still
one.
on vacation.
Yes, I know, but he hasn't had a chance to do that. So, all right, so we got this here where it says James Gunn on difference between this Superman and other versions. Yeah,
Darren said he had to hop off.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm gonna hop out of here, guys.
Okay, we'll see you later, Darren. Enjoy your vacation.
See ya. Bye bye.
All right. See, that's why we aren't doing it 3-Dub. Waiting until next time. So James Gunn on difference between this Superman and other versions. Richard Donner's films and Zack Snyder's films also suggest personal stories for Superman. But here's the main story. What is Superman's relationship with himself? I think not setting the film on our Earth was very good for that. This is an alternative Earth where there is a city called Metropolis. I mean, that's Superman's city all the time?
Huh?
Let me read this again. I think not setting the film on our Earth was very good for that. This is an alternate Earth where there's a city called Metropolis.
Huh?
It's not a film that asks, what would it be like if Superman existed in our world?
Oh,
this is a good question.
Okay. I
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
But the question of what would it be like if he were real in the human sense?
Okay.
My only issue with this quote is every Superman property has had him in Metropolis at some point or another.
Yeah.
So I understand that James is speaking to the story over top of Superman as a character from all time, right? That he's always been in Metropolis. That part I get. But I don't think that says anything about setting him apart from like Richard Donner and Zack Snyder that way. You know what I mean?
No, that doesn't suggest that there's going to... I mean, we've seen that there's going to be, but that doesn't suggest that there's going to be... Or that direct quote, anyway, doesn't imply, like, tonality differences or anything.
Right. People are really... Like, I have seen some, like... If I see one more clip from Tyrone Magnus, I swear, like, people send it to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just mute that page.
And I'm like, Tyrone Magnus, well, a lot of those channels are all falling into the same trap. They're getting lower and lower views and stuff because it's the same. Like, you could take Tyrone Magnus's first reaction to a Superman trailer and just put that in every video where he's watching a Superman teaser or something like that. It's pretty much the same thing. So it's like people are just mad about this movie, and I don't even know why, because we haven't seen the movie yet. Fair enough if we go and see it and it's shit, I'll call it shit. If it's shit to me, I'll call it shit. Just like I have with any other thing I've hated. But I think it's just weird that people are getting mad about it proactively.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and even though like the ones that are going to get mad saying it's falling off, you know, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, they're still going to go see it.
right.
They're still going to go see it.
Flash Freak says, hey, all, working on some homework, so can't stay for long, but quick question. Have y'all seen what Absolute Batman looks like? LOL, my buddy showed me today, and he's a fucking unit. Yeah, we've seen lots of that. Absolute Batman's got weird stuff. Like, look up, Dr. Is it Dr. Freeze, or is it Captain Cold, the weird one?
Dr. Freeze.
Is it? Yeah, it's so weird.
Have you seen what Absolute Bane looks like?
Yeah, with a tiny head. Yeah.
But also, he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
So, like, if there was any way to make someone seem like a physical threat for Absolute Batman, who makes Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns large-scale Batman look like a wimp. If you're gonna make a threat for that Batman, they definitely did that with Absolute Bane.
So Dev here says, anybody know where Pagey is? I've been out of the loop. Pagey's not available during the week. He's only available on the weekends. So he can't join us on Mondays and Thursdays, but I've already spoke to him. He's going to join us on the next weekend stream. So you'll see him on the weekends.
Yeah, I might be. If that's the week of July 4th, I'll be popping in from vacation on that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm out of town that week.
July 5th, you mean? I think that was
the week of the 4th.
Oh, okay.
He said the week of, not the day.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see. Hold on. Why is my screen glitching out here? Oh, there we go. All right. Let's do this. All right. 3W, you talked about social media outrage and hate, so let's read an article where we're talking about that. You were talking about like some stuff earlier.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. We'll share this tab instead. Okay.
Oh God, yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, I want to briefly cover this because I know that all of the hate channels are going to get to it. So let's go ahead and just get it out of the way. So this is Rachel Zegler says she doesn't subscribe to victim mindset when dealing with social media hate. I choose positivity and light and happiness. Now, this goes back to the stuff with Dominique earlier. I can't remember which person in the comments mentioned or whatever about her, addressing any of this stuff or whatever. Rachel Zegler at first wasn't doing anything to engage. And then she jumped in and started defending herself. And then they started going hard against her again. And then she tried to ignore them. And they kept going and kept going and kept going. So it's been sort of this like back and forth a little bit. But clearly they've gone way too hard on Rachel Zegler. They even pulled up old videos of her that had nothing to do with Snow White just to try and make her look bad. It was really bad.
Just because the movie bombed, that made her an easy target to go after.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Okay. So she goes, it's interesting, she said, and the opinions that people share about her on social media. I don't even want to click that. Before adding, it's really alarming at times. In 2021, she was cast as the title princess of Snow White. The West Side Story actress faced hatred from right-wing social media users about her Latinx background. She also faced a second wave of intense scrutiny following 2022's D23 Expo ahead of filming, where she deemed the 1937 original dated, since Prince Charming literally stalks the heroine, and a take she's since amended. Right. After the film failed commercially, she largely bore the brunt of the fallout, despite lukewarm reviews and creative issues behind the scenes. I don't know why she walked it back, you guys. Look, I'm going to be straight up. The original story is creepy as fuck.
Little bit, yeah.
Snow White is a child, and the prince is not. So I don't want to see the original story. I don't even want to read the original story. It's icky. Sorry, I don't give a fuck if it's classic. So, like, for me, when she said that it was outdated, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Unless you're on that shit. If you're on that shit, then I guess it's not. But I, for one, am not on that shit. And what I mean by that is the creepy older person messing around with somebody underage. I'm not about that. You know what I mean? In any capacity. I don't even like it in fiction. I think it's gross. And yes, Philip, the original fairy tale is very fucked up.
Yep.
Even more fucked up than the first Disney animated movie about Snow White.
And that goes tenfold for, I mean, this isn't like being remade, but I've seen talks about it potentially being considered. That whole original tale being fucked up, that goes tenfold for something like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the original ending to that movie is fucking dark. Story is what I meant.
Yeah. I also don't think, and I will stand by this, I don't think that Rachel Zegler's online hate parade was what made the movie fail.
No.
I think the movie was just a bad movie.
Hell, the Kristen Stewart Snow White movies were probably better.
I actually think Gal Gadot was a bigger problem than Rachel Zegler, to be honest.
It's ironic, because going into the movie, everyone thought it was going to be the opposite.
Yeah. I think that was a bigger issue for a lot of people. That's just my opinion. Snow White has been remade like 20 times. Yeah, but look, the reality is, this is what we need to accept. Snow White is no longer a popular character.
No.
That's just it. That the only thing that can explain why this has been such a bad thing for them over the years is that people just don't care about Snow White anymore. To be fair, Snow White is a boring character. Like, she's boring. She's very, very boring. The most exciting part of Snow White is the witch. So you can't really root for Snow White because there's nothing interesting about her as a character.
So, like, why are you really... It's like, as a viewer, why do you really care whether she gets rescued or not? There's nothing there.
She's really just a plain girl that's supposed to be pretty. Yeah,
she's just the token damsel, basically.
So that's crazy to me, right? Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is that I'm not surprised when they release a movie on Disney Plus that it jumps to number one. Like, that's just the reality of it.
They do the same thing on Netflix. Like, I could pull up Netflix and they'll say, Morbius is the number one movie on Netflix. So.
Yeah. So Snow White, the reason why Snow White was so beloved for so long is because it was the first animated movie from Disney, right? That was the reason why. And it was inside of a bubble of like maybe a dozen movies for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then Disney just went crazy. They went fucking ham and started releasing so many things. There's so many other Disney movies that have came out since the 90s, even the 80s, that sort of like blow beyond Snow White.
That are still like, they're regarded as classics today, and they don't have boring characters. They're actually good movies. Some of them are, like going back to some of them as an adult, you look back at some of them and you go, oh, that's a little different than the way I remember it. But that doesn't ruin the movie, at least most of the time.
You know what makes me worried is actually a remake that's been announced for many years, but it hasn't been like put into production yet, and that's Robin Hood, the old classic one with the fox as Robin Hood.
Oh, the animated one.
Yeah, they're trying to make a live action version of that. I'm like, how?
So Serenity says, agree to
They
disagree.
made a live action Robin Hood. It's
Love
called
the
Men in
original
Black.
Fable, non-Disney adaptations. I think some of the non-Disney ones are quite interesting. I think they are.
Yeah, because they're playing a little bit more with there's more creative liberties going on there.
Yeah. Comic interpretations of Snow. I haven't seen any of the comic interpretations.
I've read a couple, and they're good. Again, creative liberties. I don't know if I'll call them great, but again, like I just said, a lot. There's creative liberties that were taken so they could play a little bit with the character.
Serena says, I think she's a great character, pure of heart, innocent. Like none of that is interesting to me. Those are descriptions of her as a person. As a character, I find her to be very boring. She doesn't do anything that I find exciting. That's just me, and that's okay. You can like Snow White all you want. I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion.
Because I mean, if you have a character that's too perfect, too pure, too this, that, whatever, it's like, okay, where's the complexity then? They're just blank.
Was Snow White on that live action Disney TV show?
Yes.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time. Yeah, she was
Once
there.
Upon a Time. Yeah.
Yeah. Evil Queen was there too. That Evil Queen was a hell of a lot better than.
I was gonna say, I think the Evil Queen was pretty much loved on that show. I never saw that, or whatever. Yeah, look, Naruto says Snow White is more interesting in Once Upon a Time. Yeah, because I think she's an adult, right? Isn't she older?
Yeah, she's an adult
and has a daughter.
Yeah. All right, so here she goes. I think the victim mindset is a choice, and I don't choose it. She said of how she deals with online exposure. I also don't choose nastiness in the face of it. I don't choose negativity in the face of it. I choose positivity and light and happiness. And I do believe at times happiness is absolutely a choice. And every day I wake up and I think I'm lucky to live the life I live. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that statement. That's a very fair assessment. However, this article came out today. I have not looked at the grifty places here on YouTube or social media, but I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to twist these statements and make it sound like she's being nasty to them, even though she literally says that's not what she's doing.
I mean, because that's people's favorite hobby is twisting words.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's just annoying. I wish we didn't have to deal with that when it comes to this stuff. Let's see. Hold on. Where do we go here?
And didn't they try to make Snow White more entertaining with Kristen Stewart with Snow White and the Hudson?
I actually don't dislike those movies, to be honest. I completely forgot she was supposed to be Snow White because it's like an action film.
Yeah, I only remember the first one. She doesn't really feel like Snow White.
Yeah.
But granted, I haven't seen any of those movies in years.
All right, let's talk about this. This story's been sent to me all day. I don't even know when to begin with this one, so let's just read this whole thing.
Wow.
It's such a weird headline. Look, chat, I don't know the details of this story. I don't know. I haven't read any of this yet. So we're going to read this together, and we'll see where the story goes. By the way, I do want to point out we are at the hour and a half mark, so we're going to be live for about another hour. We're only 4 out of 10 super chats. If you guys want to pick the next thing that we're going to be doing, look, put it this way. If I get another super chat in the next 5 minutes, I'll go ahead and make the poll now, and then people can donate once they see the choices on the poll. But I need to get at least one more super chat towards the goal before I put the poll up. So
I threw down some poll options in case you were running out of any.
Okay, well, we can go over that. If we get another teal super chat, that puts us at that point.
All right.
All right. So Cobra Kai star Martin Kove accused of biting co-star Alicia Hannah Kim at fan convention. Okay. All right. Let's see. It says here the alleged incident occurred Sunday at SummerCon in Puyallup, Washington, where Cove and Hannah Kim, both whom appear in the Netflix series, were participating in programming and fan activities. I've been to a lot of cons. I'm pretty sure, Jake, you've been to a lot of cons. I don't know if you have 3Dub or not. But I've never heard of an incident like this at any convention.
No, I mean, I've seen crazy things happen at them, but not this.
All right. Let's see here. Reps for Cove did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. Netflix also did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. According to the report, all right, here we go. Hannah Kim told an officer working in the VIP section that after tapping Cove on the shoulder to say hello, he suddenly grabbed her arm and bit her so hard he nearly drew blood. The report states that when she cried out in pain, Cove allegedly started kissing her arm where he'd bitten her. The report detailed that Hannah Kim then told her husband, who was present at this event, and the pair went to confront Cove about the incident. Okay, before we scroll down any further, what the fuck?
Is he going mental?
Am I missing something here?
Oh, there's Paul.
But am I missing something on this? Like, I don't...
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure... Okay, so let me ask this question. I don't know a lot about this guy. Do you guys know anything about him, like outside of being on TV shows? Does he do this kind of shit normally? Chat. Is this something he does normally? Is this like behavior he does normally? His bro is zombie. Was he high or drunk?
Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Richard Weiss said it.
The last time I saw him was in a movie called Karate Kid, but that was about it.
All right, we do have a super chat here from Neon Zephyr, which takes us at the halfway mark. I hope your kitty feels better. Yes, she is scheduled to get surgery in the second week in July. So, yeah, so she's going to be, hopefully she'll be much better after that, but I thank you for your super chat. I do appreciate it. Again, you guys, every super chat that you give me for the rest of this month will go to the surgery for my cat. So, again, all help is appreciated. All right, so... let's go ahead. We're going to do... Jake, give me some of your options for the poll here, and then we're going to read the rest of this.
So I had top 5 underused Arrowverse characters.
All right. That's a good one.
I had favorite pre-MCU Marvel movies.
Favorite... what?
Pre-MCU Marvel movies.
Okay.
I think this is one that you threw out a while back, but it lost, so I just brought this one back around. Okay. Favorite movies that are lower than 50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And then another Marvel one I said are MCU hot takes.
MCU hot takes?
Yeah, like if we each had like 5, or I don't know, 3 to 5 hot takes.
Okay. We'll go with those. So those are the choices on the poll. If you guys think any of those sound exciting to you, we just need 5 more super chats and we're good. So 5 more super chats in the next hour. I think we can do it. Teal super chats, you guys come through. Yeah, so we'll see what everybody picks on here. But again, I would like to reach the goal because I do like doing these little bonus things, but also because my kitty cat needs surgery. And so anything I can do to offset that cost would be pretty cool.
And would this be whatever wins here? Would that be a Thursday thing or...
Thursday, because we're doing the animated one tonight.
Yeah.
Thursday will be the one that we did, the superpower one or whatever. So
I thought we were waiting for Darren for that one.
Isn't he going to be back Thursday or no?
I don't know. I thought he said he would be.
I think he was gone for 2 streams, and I think he missed the second one, so he's going to be back.
Okay, so whichever one we pick on this poll will be guaranteed for Thursday. And if Darren's back, we'll do the powers one as well.
Okay, cool.
So,
Cool.
All right, let's continue here. Okay, so here we go. They confronted him here. The report states that upon confronting Cove, he exploded on them, saying something to the effect of, how dare they confront him? Hannah Kim and her husband asked the reporting officer to step in and defuse the situation. According to the report, Cove claimed he was trying to be funny, adding that they play fight all the time on the set of Cobra Kai. Hannah Kim reportedly told the officer that she would not file charges, but wished to have a report filed in case this continues. All right, is that it? Is that the end of it? Oh, no. Cove was instructed to leave the venue. The reporting officer advised the actor to not repeat such behavior in the future.
You shouldn't have to tell somebody that. But
he's
whatever.
78. What 78-year-old person thinks that's okay to do to someone? Anybody.
This is going to sound mean, but what 78-year-old person has that many working teeth left?
Yeah. Yeah, 78. He was asked to leave the convention because of this. I don't know. Biting someone feels to me like that's a little much.
I mean, it's worse than a slap, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, because, well, first of all, I don't want to get slapped or bit, but when you're biting somebody, that can lead to, like, all kinds of stuff. You're breaking skin.
He probably got inspired by Mike Tyson's ear bite.
Oh, no. I don't even know where to go with this one. This is crazy. This is crazy. Anyway, chat, what do you think about this? Let us know. All right. The next one we're going to dive into is everyone's favorite actor.
Oh, fuck it.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I know what this is.
Ezra Miller.
Yep.
All right, let's dive into this. He's on his comeback tour, everybody. Well, actually, okay, so is Ezra back to using he, him, or is it still they, them? I don't even know anymore because Ezra has changed pronouns a lot of times in the last few years, so I'm not really sure.
From what I understand, it's back to he, him, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I just want the chat to know that this is not me trying to purposely misgender Ezra. Unless they say so in this article, I don't know. All right.
I think you can say Ezra Miller and not be like, if it was they, them, it's still Ezra Miller.
Really?
What the hell?
No, I don't want to save this article for later. No. After I'm done reading it, that's it. Why would I save this one? All right. Ezra Miller considers returning to Hollywood. Solitude has been friendly to me. Well, it was a forced solitude because you did so many crazy things over like a 4-year period that
he needed some time in the Speed Force, that's for sure.
All right. Okay, here we go. Let's dive into this, everybody. Get ready. Get your popcorn and get your soda here. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a sip of drink before I start reading this.
Might as well get all your alcohol out, too.
All right. 2 years after Ezra Miller's last screen role and 3 years after a barrage of legal issues, including criminal charges and harassment allegations, the Flash star... God, don't say that. Stop calling him the Flash. The Flash star is eyeing a return. Miller surprised industry watchers by appearing at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival, attending in support of friend collaborator Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love. Ramsey, who directed the actor in 2011's award-winning We Need to Talk About Kevin, is one of my closest friends in the world and one of the greatest living filmmakers. Miller, okay, so it is they, them. Told Italian publication Lo Speciale Giornale. I hope I got that right. If not, oh well. Ramsey revealed in May that Miller will star as the main character in her next film, described as a vampire movie. All right.
Does it mean he's going to be biting somebody?
Oh no! Like we went from one biting story to the next. Biting story.
Yeah. Oh man, bad segue.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm working with her again, Miller confirmed. That will likely be the first thing I do, is a film that her and I are writing together. I've been writing a lot because you can do that in solitude, which has been friendly to me. When asked to characterize their relationship with cinema, Miller responded, tentative, I'd say on tentative grounds. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. This sounds to me like it's not going to be a big budget movie. So it's going to be some sort of like indie or like non-major studio release, most likely. Which is exactly what most of us had expected would be Ezra's next step in returning to Hollywood, so to speak. I'm not shocked that this is the route that Ezra's going. So, anyway, through Miller's legal and personal issues came to a head in 2022. The actor had already courted controversy and legal scrutiny in 2020. A video resurfaced of the actor choking a woman in a bar in Iceland to the ground. That video has never gone away. It says resurfaced. It was brought up every time I talked about Ezra Miller. That video.
There was controversy before 2020.
Yeah. In 2022, Miller faced accusations of assault, abuse, and grooming, and was the subject of arrest for disorderly conduct, which led to a string of subsequent arrests. In Hawaii, there was like 2 or 3 of them. Often following physical altercations, certain charges like their 2023 burglary charge in the state of Vermont have been dropped due to the plea deal Miller has struck in multiple states. Miller has since apologized for their behavior, noting in a statement provided to Entertainment Weekly that they were in a time of intense crisis, as well as suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. 3 years from the period of crisis, Miller is really grateful for the lessons that came with that abyss, and then goes on to say here, We're not going to watch the interview. But when you work in this industry, the actor said, who also starred in Fantastic Beasts trilogy of films, you will find yourself in deep relation to people who do not give a single fuck about you or your well-being at all. Okay, I don't agree with Ezra on a lot of stuff, but I absolutely agree with that. I think a lot of people in Hollywood don't care about each other, and that's just part of the business. So it sucks, but that, again, like I was saying earlier, that's part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, you have people that, they try to utilize and see you not for who you are, but rather what you are and what you can give. Like, you're a machine.
Not that I don't about your well-being at all. Not that I don't hold a lot of remorse for lamentation for a lot of things I did and felt, a lot of things that happened at that time. I mean, we still don't know the answers to like 50% of the stuff that Ezra did, because a lot of it was hidden behind like settlements and NDAs and stuff like that. So most of it we'll probably never know. I think that's going to haunt Ezra's career.
Oh, yeah.
Because no matter what happens moving forward, studios are going to want transparency, and lack of transparency is going to make that extremely difficult. So, that's quite crazy. Anyway, let's drop this out here. And let me see what we're doing on the poll here so we can see where we're at. All right, so as of right now, again, we're still 5 super chats away from the goal. The winning option is underused Arrowverse characters. So that is the one that is winning at the moment.
Okay.
So if you guys want to see us talk about that on Thursday, or the second highest one is 50% or lower Rotten Tomatoes score films. So those are the two that are kind of battling it out. So you want to vote. We only got 21 votes, but we have like 100 people watching in the stream. So go over and vote in the poll if you would like to make a choice. And we're 5 super chats away from reaching the goal.
I'd be interested to see if that lower than 50% one won, because that'd be a fun, diverse one to talk about. Probably won't be nearly as much overlap there for an Arrowverse one.
I would say probably not.
Because with Arrowverse, there's bound to be some overlap on stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So let's do this here. All right. This is the last major topic, and then we're going to dive into all the little tidbits. And then we'll do
majors.
Our
no, kidding.
Yeah. So, all right. This is another a lot of controversial stuff came out today.
I just had to say majors, and you just had to say controversy.
Yeah. Johnny Depp calls himself the crash test dummy for the hashtag #MeToo movement during Amber Heard trial. Now, I want to point out that there is a rumor that Johnny Depp is coming back to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. There are rumors about that.
What? You mean they don't want to make the movie with Margot Robbie?
I don't know.
They're making that one too.
Yeah. So it says here, in a rare interview with the Sunday Times, the Oscar-nominated actor called himself a crash test dummy for the Me Too movement regarding Heard's initial allegations against him in 2016 after she filed for divorce, accusing him of domestic violence. Let's see, where is the actual quote here? Was this up here? It doesn't say there. Let's start reading here. I knew I'd have to semi-eviscerate myself. Everyone was saying it'll go away, but I can't trust that. What will go away? The fiction pawned around the fucking globe. No, it won't. If I don't try to represent the truth, it will be like I've actually committed the acts I'm accused of, and my kids will have to live with that. They're kids that I've met in hospitals. So the night before the trial in Virginia, I didn't feel nervous. If you don't have to memorize lines, you're just speaking the truth. Roll the dice.
Why does this thing label him as the 3 days director? Like, they really stretch out the... Are they just trying to meet a word count by labeling him that way?
True. Oh, it's under 50% Naruto. Under 50% films. Sorry. None of this was going to be easy. I'll fight until the bitter fucking end, and if I end up pumping gas, that's all right. I've done that before. Depp admitted he was hurt seeing these fake motherfuckers who lie to you, celebrate you, say all sorts of horror behind your back. You keep the money. He was referencing people he worked with throughout his career who spoke out against him when he was on trial. There were people, and I'm thinking of 3, who did me dirty. Those people were at my kids' parties, throwing them in the air. And look, I understand people who could not stand up for me because the most frightening thing to them was making the right choice. I was pre-#MeToo. What was he?
Is that correct?
Maybe the incident, but were the charges filed pre that? Hold on, let me double check.
The incident might have been, but I didn't think the charges were filed until after.
Double check. Actually, it says the Me Too movement started in 2006.
Damn, it's been that long.
Yeah, it says actress Tarana Burke coined the phrase Me Too to support survivors of SA, particularly women of color and underprivileged communities. It was used a little bit over the years, and then it gained widespread global attention in 2017. So this would have been, his incident would have been a year before the Alyssa Milano tweeting Me Too after reports of SA and harassment with Harvey Weinstein. So it wasn't, so what he's saying sounds like he's talking about the globalization of the movement, opposed to a smaller movement back in 2006. Anyway, I was like a crash test dummy for Me Too. It was before Harvey Weinstein, and I sponged it, took it all in, and so I wanted from the 100 people I've met in the industry to see who was playing it safe. I don't actually remember how big it was back in 2016, because I do remember people covering it when it was in court, but I don't remember how many people were talking about it like heavily prior to the court dates.
I don't know. I don't have that info on hand.
Yeah. Either way, look, I think this is him. So Ezra and Johnny, and even Kevin Spacey to some degree, are doing this sort of like pseudo comeback tour stuff where they're coming back in and they're trying to sort of ease back into the industry.
Which Johnny wasn't even the one who walked off worse from his predicament, so I'm surprised that like you're not. I guess what I'm more surprised at is that Amber hasn't said anything yet.
True. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these people are going to come back eventually. Like I feel like Jonathan Majors is going to swing back around eventually. I think there's a lot of people that have had things said about them and done. I brought it up because you brought it up. A lot of people.
I know. I wasn't even talking about the name. I was talking about how that could have been taken as a really bad joke.
Oh, well, I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people in Hollywood, there is an expiration date on stuff, and it's becoming less and less of a problem, which is weird. Like, right. I feel like if you're involved with anything that has any sort of physical altercations or physical abuse connected to it, I don't think that you should really be out here being a role model in the industry. Like I just don't.
It doesn't have an expiration date. Like it should be treated like a, pardon my use of the term, should be treated like a normal person's track record. That shit sticks with you until you die.
And if people remember the fact that Robert Downey Jr. struggled with addiction, and he made a comeback too.
Yeah, but that wasn't hurting anybody but himself.
Well, I mean, like, but
alcoholism isn't the same thing as a violence act.
And then Tim Allen also did drugs and selling narcotics, and he made a comeback too.
I think for me, there's a difference between people who are physically assaulting people and people who are doing things to themselves.
Yes, I mean, obviously the self-saboteurs thing, it's never encouraged, but they're not directly assaulting anybody.
I think it's much easier for you to have struggles in your life where you're dealing with addiction and to pull away from that. That's more of a success story for a lot of people. Like there's even channels here on YouTube like Nerdrotic who was involved in drugs, and even though he was selling drugs, he sort of tried to turn that into like a success story for him, turning his life around and everything like that. But I think when you're engaged in anything that is just affecting you, that actually gives you an opportunity to turn your life around in Hollywood and sort of like have a comeback. But I think if you're hurting other people, that's different for me. Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, I would say that's another example Fatman plays. Naruto says, I was just making a joke about it based on critic or fan score. You can either one. I feel like if you're going to choose it, you just have to say it got like 48% from critics or something like that, and you can throw that up as your choice,
that's
for Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was talking about like which end of the 50%. That's what I thought.
Let's see, what else do we have here? We got a few other things.
Have we gotten to the Spider-Man thing yet? Or
that's what I was looking up.
Okay.
Right here. I think this is the big news here. This is the only thing I saw, really. Right? Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about Spider-Man here. John Bernthal joins Tom Holland in Spider-Man Brand New Day. The Punisher is back. So let's see what it says. I don't know how much detail it has. I think it just says that he's doing it. John Bernthal has appeared in several Marvel television series, blah, 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 blah. Bernthal has joined Tom Holland in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the latest Spider-Man movie from Sony and Marvel. Destin Daniel Cretton is directing the film, which will shoot in England this summer and has a July 31st, 2026 release date. Much of the movie remains shrouded in mystery. Movie rumor websites have listed upwards of a dozen possible villains, from crime bosses to alien symbiotes, who could appear in the feature, as well as a couple different versions of the Hulk.
I honestly hope that Punisher kills someone from Spider-Man, a bad guy.
Yeah.
And the one person that Spider-Man should hate with a fiery passion is Punisher.
Well, they're probably going to play off into his form of justice, because remember, the last time you saw Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he was this close to murdering Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
You're probably going to have somebody like Punisher who, everybody here knows what Punisher's brand of justice is. And ordinarily a character like Spider-Man would be affected by that. But maybe it'll hit Tom Holland's Spider-Man a little bit differently because of what he went through in his last movie.
Cody says crazy that this movie is
with
about
great power comes great.
So Reed says Daredevil and then Punisher. So yeah, I mean, it says here the only thing that's clear at this stage is Zendaya and Jacob Batalon will be reprising their roles as MJ and best friend Ned. Although how substantial these roles will be remains unclear. And Stranger Things stars Sadie Sink and the big new addition so far. The story takes place after the events of the previous movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, in which the entire world knew Peter Parker as Spider-Man and then had that knowledge erased. Having Bernthal as the Punisher seems to point to a slightly more grounded angle on the story, as the character hails from the gritty streets of Marvel's universe and, in the comics at least, uses fists, knives, and guns to tussle with bad guys rather than spells or fancy tech. But hey, having him square off against a rampaging Hulk could be fun too.
And what's funny is you have Hulk, Punisher, and a PTSD Spider-Man.
Right. So my thing
is the Hulk thing actually confirmed?
I think it's just rumors at this point, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, we know Sadie Sink is going to be in it. We know that for sure. We just don't know who she's going to be playing.
Right. I'm so sick and tired of seeing all these. Oh, Mary Jane. Oh, Gwen. Oh, Silk. Cindy Moon. It's like, just wait for the fucking movie.
Yeah. I think that this is a signal that the movie is going to be dark.
Yeah.
Like, if there was ever any indication that this movie is not going to be your typical Spider-Man MCU movie, this is the red flag.
I wonder how dark will they go too, because if you have
PG-13 dark.
I was like, I want an R-rated Spider-Man.
I don't see a world where they throw Spider-Man into an R-rated movie.
If they don't have the balls to throw Venom into an R rating, they won't do it to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That would be funny if they do, though.
I think there's a couple things that we should be excited about and a couple things we might want to be concerned about. The things I think we should be excited about is this means there's a possibility we could see Daredevil in this movie also, which would be exciting. Maybe Kingpin's in this movie.
Because Kingpin did, even though he's more prominently a Daredevil villain, he debuted in the Spider-Man comics.
Yes.
Honestly,
he is a Spider-Man villain.
Yes.
It makes me, this is like a wild theory. I think it's probable. Like, they're going to use the anti-vigilante as a plot point in the movie.
It could possibly end up being that. You're right. Because we do know that Daredevil season 2 is going to have a ton of street level MCU characters in it.
And we don't know if Daredevil we do know that it comes before Spider-Man. Right?
I think the release date for this movie is going to move up a little bit. That's just my opinion.
It might be before.
I don't know.
I mean, they have to have another movie that next year. They can't just do Spider-Man and Doomsday. There has to be a third movie, right?
Does there have to be?
I feel like if they're going to, why did they move Doomsday then?
Well, that one probably there was
I
a lot
still
that you had to do with principal photography on that one.
I honestly do think there's tune. Sorry.
I think there's another movie coming out next year that we don't know yet.
I mean,
I think
I'm not saying it's impossible or unlikely. I'm just saying I don't know if it's necessarily required.
It's either Doctor Strange or something else.
So, Ghost, I don't believe anything actors say like this. Do not take any of this to heart. Actors are told things they can say and things they can't say. Mm-hmm. So if he was told, hey, you can't tell people you're going to be in the Spider-Man movie because it's a massive fucking spoiler for Daredevil.
I mean, Fox made a deal with Sony back in the day because Fox was the ones that were making the Daredevil movie. They made a deal with Sony for Kingpin to appear in that movie because Sony owned the character.
Yeah.
So they could very easily do the same thing.
I think there's a history of Marvel actors saying things that are wrong or lying outright. So I just don't necessarily think.
Looking at you, Andrew.
Yeah.
And Toby.
Yeah.
Well, Toby never really lied. He just never was asked about it.
But if it was a year or two ago, then he wouldn't know what the current state of the business deal is. Like, that's the thing, is either he's been told what to say by Marvel or he's unaware of how the business. Like, Vincent D'Onofrio would have he wouldn't be in the meetings with Sony and Marvel. Like, he wouldn't be there. So look, no disrespect to him. I'm sure he does a great job and knows a lot about what's going on set with him, but he's not sitting in the offices with Marvel and Disney when they're making these kinds of decisions.
Yeah. So. It's like Marvel actors.
Right.
Yeah. The hierarchy.
Yeah, you only get your actors in the writing rooms when it's people like RDJ and Mahershala Ali. Which even then,
I do remember talking about Vincent's quote, and it was recently. So he did say something like that recently within the last year or so. I don't remember when it was. I think it was right before the debut of Daredevil season 4. Born Again season 1 or whatever.
Probably. Yeah.
Where he reiterated that, but again, he doesn't know. And also when actors say that, if I was being asked by an interviewer, hey, are you going to appear in a movie with a character that you're known to have a lot of dealings with? And I knew that I was, but I couldn't say I couldn't be there. I'd be like, I would make something up.
Right. And, I will say, whether or not this facade is to be believed, one actor that has got that down pretty good, I will say, is Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
There's been talks about whether or not him and Ryan Reynolds are going to appear in the two Avengers movies or not. It's likely, but we don't 100% know. But Hugh has even said, if I was in it, I would think of a really cool way to say that I wasn't in it, but I haven't been told anything.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, you know what? That's a pretty damn safe answer.
Let's see here.
How long are you looking to have this one go tonight, by the way?
What?
This stream.
Like another half an hour, probably.
Okay, I was just asking because we're about to hit the 2-hour mark, and you haven't even started the rank.
Yeah, but that's the very next thing we're gonna do.
Okay. Cool.
Actually, I was just going through to make sure that. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing. To make sure that we had everything set up to go. No comment is my favorite response.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. But then people will be like, well, if they say no comment, that means they're confirming it.
No, yeah, well, that's not always true, because you remember when everybody was saying, whenever everybody was talking about Ryan Reynolds, and they said, hey, and are you going to be in Doctor Strange 2? He goes, I don't have anything to say on it. I'm not there. And they go, oh, yeah, I believe that. And then what happened? He wasn't in the fucking movie.
All right, so before we get into this list, I want to let everybody know we do have a little bit of time left. We are still 5 super chats away. I know that's a big ask. We're getting close to the end of the stream. But 5 more teal super chats, and whatever gets picked on the poll, we will end up doing. So if you guys ever wanted to rally and get some super chats in, now would be the time to do that as we're going through our list here. Because I don't know how much longer we're going to be on after we're done with the list. So
just 5 people give up 1 Starbucks coffee a month.
Right. All right. So I have 7 on my list. One of them is a bonus one that I mentioned in my previous list, but it's one that I love, and so it's my extra just in case you guys pick the same thing that I pick. Because I think there's like 2 or 3 on here that might be overlaps.
Yeah,
So
I've got some on here that I know are not overlaps.
Okay, well, good. All right.
So what are we doing? The top 5 2000s animated movies?
Yes, 2000 animated movies, yeah. All right. So I guess let's do it different today. That's okay, Serenity. I get if people don't have money. I'm just reminding everybody because a lot of times people forget that the goal is there and they don't super chat until after the goal is expired. It's just easier for me to keep track of people get the super chats in before the goal expires. So I'd like to tell people, look, I'm going to answer all your super chats. We'll bundle them all up and answer all of them in one go if we get them all in before the end of the stream. So, and we're halfway there. I mean, we could possibly do it, but it's okay. It would only be the second time since the Nerdcast started that we didn't hit the goal, but I get it. Like, this is just no pressure, but all the pressure in the world. So, all right. So let's start with Jake then. We'll go to Jake and we'll go counterclockwise. So it'll be Jake, 3Dub, and then me. I'll go last. So that way, if we have any like overlaps, I can take the hit for it. So, all right. Jake, starting, you're going to start from 5 to 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this first movie that I've got is from 2002. And this one was one of the first ones I threw on here. This wasn't even a debate. I knew I was going to talk about this at some point. I have 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is that's an Adam Sandler animated movie. One of the few, actually, as far as I can think of, the only one where the character he's playing, Davy Stone, actually.
What year did that come out?
2002.
Mm-hmm.
He actually is modeled after Adam Sandler, like the design of the character. And that's just a movie where you can tell it's his energy all over it. And it's a blast. It's this movie about a party animal who, gets himself into a little bit of trouble with the law. And for any basketball fans, they get a kick out of the movie too. That's how I first got introduced to the movie, is because a lot of my friends growing up were really into basketball. I wasn't really, but after watching that movie, I was like, you know what? Basketball seems a little fun. Maybe I could enjoy that sport if it's kind of like this. Yeah, you look that movie up. I think it's on Prime. It was on Netflix at one point, but yeah, it's just one that I have a blast with. It's very quotable too. It's the thing. It's quotable, but it's also kind of in its niche little bubble. Like, granted, it's got a very low rating on a lot of different metric scores, but I still think it's an absolute blast.
Okay. All right. Well, that wasn't on my list. 3Dub, was that on your list?
No.
Okay. So you're up next, 3Dub. What is your number 5 pick?
My number 5 is let me get the date. I typed it in but forgot the date. Okay, there we go.
By the way, Eric, I also have 7 on mine.
Okay, so it's from 2006 and it's called Happy Feet.
Oh, I love Happy Feet.
I remember that movie.
That's a good one.
And that's the one with the penguins, Jackman, right? Too.
Is it the penguin one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There are a few penguin animated movies.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good one. When did that come out again? 2006, you said?
2006, yeah.
Thanks, Cameron, for the super chat. We're 6 out of 10 now. We'll read all the super chats at the end of this segment, so go ahead and get them in now. We're 6 out of 10. 4 away. 4 teal super chats away. I feel like you guys can do that. Okay. This one might be on you guys' list, but we'll start with my number 5 here. Mine is from 2008.
Nope.
I have one 2008 movie, but I doubt we're thinking the same thing.
Okay. Kung Fu Panda.
Okay. Whew. Okay.
I love Kung Fu Panda. It's like that first one is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
It surprised me because I saw the preview for it and I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. This is going to be stupid. And then I went and saw it. I had a little edible before I went, so I was feeling really good. And but I've seen it since then. Like I don't love all of the Kung Fu Panda. We got, what is it, Ironheart and Kung Fu Panda. What is the stream turning into tonight?
Eric, you just described the 4th movie in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Kung Fu Panda from 2008 DreamWorks is my number 5. So anyway. All right, go ahead, Jake. What is your number 4?
So my number 4, This is based off a more obscure comic character than your typical heavy hitters up here. Still a well-known character by many, though. I have Hellboy: Blood and Iron. That's from 2007.
Okay.
You can actually watch that movie on Tubi if anyone's never seen it. And I really got into that character from Del Toro's movies, and there were multiple animated Hellboy movies that came out in the mid to late.
Are they connected to the Del Toro stuff or no?
From what I remember, I don't believe so, but don't quote me on that. But I love the journey that this one takes Hellboy on. They investigate this Long Island haunting that they think will lead them to this vampire that's been resurrected, which I love vampire type stories. Love the Hellboy character and that tone. It's a really good mix in my opinion. Again, another movie that doesn't have the highest rating, but I absolutely get a blast every time I watch that movie, and I had a feeling that was one of the more obscure ones that nobody was going to pick.
Okay. Number 4 pick for you, 3Dub.
My number 4 is from 2004, and it's the Polar Express.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a good movie. A very different type of animation, but
and also it had Tom Hanks.
All right,
it's weird when you look at that movie because like only 1 or 2 characters in that movie have a name. Like the 2 leads are literally cast. They're literally character labels are Hero Boy and Hero Girl.
All right, so I'm up next, and we're going all the way back to 2004. Anybody got a 2004 movie?
I do. I think I just used it too.
Okay.
I don't think I have any more.
Okay.
I just looked.
This is a Studio Ghibli movie. It's called Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that one.
This is one of my favorites.
Great soundtrack.
Yes, yeah. It's one of those movies where I occasionally go back to it to watch it over and over again. It's got like the magic realism to it, the anti-war themes in the film. So I really enjoyed the movie, and so it's one of those ones that I think is a classic. You see it a lot. Like when people reference like extremely well done anime movies, that's one of the ones that almost always comes up on people's list. So yeah, that's my number 4.
Nice.
So all right, what is your number 3, Jake?
So my number 3, this is going all the way back to 2001.
Wait, hold on, wait before you say.
I do have a 1.
I do have a 1. I actually have 2 number 2001, so we'll see.
This is my only 2001. I'll say that.
Okay, good.
It is a Disney movie.
Okay.
And it is my only Disney movie on this list.
Oh boy.
I have Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Whew, okay.
Okay. All right.
I absolutely adored this movie when I was younger, and still love it today. It's got just really great visuals with all the underwater visuals that Atlantis brings in. I mean, every time the Kingdom of Atlantis or just that setting is depicted, it always impresses me what they're able to do with it visually, and this movie I think is no exception to that. Has a great plot where they're uncovering a mystery where a guy, he joins up with a bunch of daredevil explorers, and it's got a really good cast top to bottom too. Michael J. Fox, Don Novello, James Garner, I think even Phil Morris as well. So a lot of good talent in there, and one of Disney's movies that I feel like is not talked about nearly enough. So that's always been one of my favorites.
Okay. So far so good. We haven't had any overlaps. I haven't had to dig into my extras pad. So 3Dub, you are up next. What is your next pick?
My number 3 is from 2003, pun intended. Brother Bear.
Oh, I didn't have that one either. That's really good. Who was it that was the lead actor in that one?
Joker. Phoenix or something.
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix? Okay.
Yeah, that was Joaquin Phoenix and Jeremy Suarez, I think.
Did Mike Mignola do the art for that? Which thing, Parker? If you're talking about Hellboy, he's probably the most well-known Hellboy artist of all time.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. Maybe, are we talking about Atlantis? I don't know if he did Atlantis or not. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Parker. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I'm surprised I didn't cross any over you. Yay.
Okay. Where are we at? Number 3?
Number 3.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 3 is from 2009, the very end of the list here.
Don't have any of those.
Anybody else have a 2009 one?
Let me look. Hold on. Because one of my movies might be, I legitimately can't remember. Okay, I have one. I very much doubt it's the one you have.
Okay. So my 2009 is a very dark, it's like a dark animated film for older kids and adults.
Oh, shit. Please don't take it.
Coraline.
Okay. Whew. I got scared.
Yeah, no, Coraline's great. I think it's one of the best ones in that genre.
Great movie.
Again, we are halfway through our list, and we've had no double take so far. This might show why that decade was so good for animation. The fact that we haven't overlapped yet. And the thing is, we haven't even said any of the obvious ones yet.
Yeah.
So
I try to stray away from those.
Right. Okay. With that being said, what is your number 2, Jake?
So my number 2, this is from 2008. This is an animated Marvel movie, my only one of these that's on here.
Okay.
I have Next Avengers: Heroes of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And
I think I remember that one. What was the storyline of that one?
that was the one where it's the Avengers kids going up against Ultron. The Avengers are, for the most part, have been killed, and the kids have to fight these Iron Man versions.
That's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And
okay, yeah.
I really love just that concept by itself of,
Right.
like an older Tony Stark raising the Avengers kids, these kids coming up into their own and having to fight these robot possessed versions of their parents. I was really fascinated with that story. And out of all the depictions of Ultron that we've seen, I think that is probably him at his scariest.
Right.
Definitely helped that Tom Kane delivered a fantastic performance as the voice. And like, we haven't really seen that concept played with, where you've gotten like robotic versions of the Avengers. Like, you've had evil versions, like all the Hydra versions, the zombie versions, but those Iron Avengers, as they're called in the movie, they were created to go against Ultron and protect the world because the Avengers were no longer there. And then, halfway through the movie, Ultron ends up taking control of them and turning them against the world. I mean, you get the son of Captain Black Widow, the son of T'Challa, the daughter of Thor, child of Giant Man and the Wasp, Hawkeye. You also get like Old Man Hulk later in the movie, who is terrifying as hell in that movie, by the way. Fred Tatasciore that's probably his best performance as Hulk. I'll go ahead and say it right now. That sent chills down my spine when I heard him in that movie. So if anybody hasn't seen that, I definitely recommend it.
So here we are. We're on the line now. 3Dub, what is your number 2 choice?
I avoided the obvious on these, no Incredibles, no Finding Nemo, basically like that. But mine is from 2002.
Hold on. Before you say it, let me look at my list.
I don't have a 2 on here.
My next 2 are not 2002, so we're good.
And it's Disney, and it's Treasure Planet.
Ooh, goated, underrated Disney movie.
Yeah,
that is extremely underrated. It's one of my favorites. I
really like the story, and if there was like a toy that I would collect, it's that sidekick that he has, which is kind of like Baby Grogu.
Before I talk about my second choice, look, you guys, we are 7 out of 10. We are only 3 teal super chats away from reaching the goal. 3 of them. So you guys, I think we could do it. If you have ever wanted to support the channel and you have some extra funds to throw around, this would be the time to do it. So we can hit the goal. If we don't, again, it's not the end of the world, but I just want to let you guys know it is it would be the second time we don't hit the goal. And the first time was in 2024. So in 2025, we've never not hit the goal. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. My number 2 pick is probably one of the most obvious ones, maybe. It's from 2007. It's a Brad Bird movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was debating this one, but
Were you? Wait, hold on, 3Dub. What did you say? Did you fix this?
No.
I was debating this one, but I was like, you know what? I love this movie, but I'm going to leave it
Do
on.
we know what it is? You guys know what it is?
Is it The Incredibles?
I feel like you're going to rat me out if I don't say it.
Yeah, there we go. Ratatouille is my number. Is my number two.
That
pick.
is my okay. Yeah, that is one of mine.
It's a
not
great movie.
It is one of yours.
Yeah, it's my honorable mentions.
Oh well, don't worry about it. As long as it's not one of your list or whatever. So since it's your honorable mentions, that does not count towards like an overlap because it was an honorable mention. But yeah, I think it's a fun movie. We always joke about it because it's so absurd, but I think the absurdity of it is what makes it so good.
Yeah,
I didn't even put it in there.
It's a very compelling, straightforward message, candy coated with such bizarre toppings.
Right. Okay. Before we get into our number one picks, chat, now is your time to give some feedback. You've heard our top 5 through 2 now. So before we give our number ones in the chat, type out which person has the best list so far. Is it Jake? Is it 3Dub? Is it me? Who has the best list so far based on everything we've said?
Oh, I can almost guarantee it's not me.
Well, I don't know. And while we're doing that, while they're typing that out in the chat, Jake, what is your number one option?
So my number one, like I was debating about what I wanted to do. Like putting the number of movies on the list wasn't hard, but like where to put them was the hard part.
Right.
This might be a movie that no one's heard of. I don't know. This is going all the way to the end of the 2000s, 2009. I have this little movie called Red Line. And Red Line is it's a racing movie that's got a very kind of anime art style onto it. It mixes racing and mafia together. So kind of like Fast and Furious with an anime touch up, but there's also story there. And it's just so much fun. I absolutely love that film. It makes dopamine hit my brain like every time I watch it, and I've seen it numerous times.
True statement, Chris.
Yeah, there you go. But if anybody hasn't seen that movie, I would definitely watch it. If like anybody that's an anime fan, I feel like they'll definitely get a kick out of it. And like there is a simplicity to it. How a lot of movies around that time did use racing as an element of a rather simplistic plot, but I think it definitely works with this case. This movie's also free on Tubi if anybody wants to go check it out. I have a blast with this movie every time I go back and rewatch it. Are we going ahead and throwing out honorable mentions now?
Do your honorable mentions now.
All right. So I did have another comic book movie in my honorable mentions. I was debating throwing in top 5, but I only limited it to one comic movie. I had Batman Under the Red Hood as one of my honorable mentions. Love that film to bits. I don't think I need to explain why on that one.
Yeah.
And then the last honorable mention that I had was from 2003, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas.
Okay. That's good.
That's one character in fiction that like I am just absolutely in love with. Like whenever they do that, for example, that animated movie and the way that they visualize the seas and just the world around them, or even going all the way back to that 50s, that Seventh Voyage of Sinbad movie. That's still one of my favorite movies. So yeah, I had a feeling my list was probably the most diverse. Like there were some things here.
I don't know. You got a little love. Cameron said that you had the best list. So.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Cameron said that.
Oh.
Okay, so before we get into 3Dub's choices here, I want to point out that I did get a donation through Cash App, so I will count that towards the goal.
Oh, shit, I didn't realize Red Hood was 2010. Whoops, my bad.
It's okay. I did get a donation through Cash App, so that will count that towards the goal. Thank you, Jose, for the Cash App. So one more Super Chat will count towards victory. So we're only one away at this point. So thanks everybody for donating, and thank you. Who was it that donated? I think it was. Do we have 2 of them? We did. So somebody named Jose super chat or sent me a Cash App, and RL Morales Jr. sent me a super chat. So thank you guys both for that. So one more here, and I will count that as hitting it.
Cool.
So we'll go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and do 9 instead of 10 because of that.
All right.
Because you guys are feeling so generous. All right. With that being said, 3Dub, what is your number 1, and what are the honorable mentions that you haven't mentioned? So that haven't been mentioned so far.
So this one is from 2001, and it's a beloved classic, in my opinion, and that's Shrek.
Oh!
I left that one out on purpose.
That was my number 1. Okay, so you got me right there at the end.
It's all ogre now, then.
Yeah. Oh, it's all ogre now. I do have a backup for it that I think everybody's going to agree with, but we'll wait till we get there.
Shrek 2.
Yeah. So outside of that, what are your honorable mentions? Was what you said that we did one before? That was your mention?
One of them was Ratatouille from 2007.
All right.
I love that movie. And my second one is Over the Hedge.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm a crazy rabbit squirrel.
Okay. So with that being said, this brings me to my number 1. And I actually had, obviously Shrek was my original number 1. So I'm dipping into my honorable mentions here. This is one that I left off, but it is also directed by Brad Bird. And it's been mentioned before, I believe, by someone else in one of our review or one of our top list or whatever.
Yep.
And that is 2004, The Incredibles. I don't think we need to talk more about it. It literally is one of the best superhero movies of all time. And I think it's actually the best quote unquote Fantastic Four movie
Yep, I was
that
thinking
we've ever had
thing.
up till now, up till we see the new one that comes out.
Yeah,
which, by the way, I don't even know if the new one is good, if it's going to be better than The Incredibles. The Incredibles is almost a perfect film, in my opinion. There's really not a lot to say about it. Also, in my honorable mentions, I had one that I mentioned before, which is Spirited Away from 2001, Studio Ghibli, which is another one of my favorite animated movies of all time. And that was all of my honorable mentions. But it looks like we got out of that relatively unscathed, considering...
we both had number 1, though. So
yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think I saved myself there by going for some more obscure picks. For sure.
So, but with that being said, Cameron just came through with the 9th super chat, which counts as the 10th super chat. So even though we're not getting the confetti, I don't think we get the confetti without hitting it. But even though we didn't get the confetti, which if somebody wants to super chat to get the confetti, they can. But we didn't get the confetti, but we have reached the goal. So thank you guys so much. We did it right, literally at the end of the list that we did. So that's kind of perfect. But I do want to give a shout out to Jose and RL Morales who donated. Jose didn't leave a comment, but let me read what RL says. For the cat and the Ryan Coogler face reveal, because apparently they didn't know what Ryan Coogler looked like. So, but thank you for that.
It's a very pretty pink phone case.
Thank you. It's also got the
nice.
Sanctorum
Nice.
on the back of it.
That's
so,
cool.
All right.
The only comic bling or attire that I have on my phone at all is just that as my background.
Oh. Okay, so now that you guys have heard the whole list, as we're going through the super chats, we're going to go through super chats now. Now that you've heard the whole list in the chat, and we got like 68, almost 70 people still watching. Who won with their list? And you can include honorable mentions if you want in the list. Tell us now who won. And I think moving forward...
there it is.
Yep.
Confetti time.
I think moving forward, I will keep track of people's choices and like we'll put it up on the side here so everybody can see it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like in a little text box as people are saying it, I'll type it out.
What if we did those in like a draft style?
Maybe possibly.
Like all those lists and stuff in the future.
Yeah. All right, so let's go through the super chats.
Just a random
back
thought.
here. Where's it at?
Wait, was How to Train Your Dragon early? Was that in the 2000s?
I thought it was in the 2010s.
That's what I thought too.
In the 2010s.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. All right, so Cameron donating a few of these super chats. Thank you, Cameron, for supporting so much with super chats. Thank you. But I appreciate everybody being here. But Cameron, you came through here, so it was actually 2010. Okay, that makes sense. $5 super chat. Eric's and Daredevil Born Again editor said they were told not to watch the Netflix. Yeah, I did see that, and I was going to include it, but I saw it after I'd already made like titles and thumbnails. So briefly, I did see that they so I believe that they said they didn't want them to look at that and try to inspire what they were doing when they were trying to do the reboot thing, which they kind of walked back on, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be honest, I don't really know why Marvel was trying to do a soft reboot anyway. I didn't really understand that. It was already their property to begin with.
Right.
So,
and I mean, granted, now that we've seen how both products ended up, I always thought it was funny that, when it came to the reshoots of Born Again, which weren't looking great, how they came in and said, "Hey, this sucks, change it."
yeah.
And with those reshoots, people were a lot more on board. They were a lot happier, even though they didn't know what the reshoots consisted of at the time.
Right.
But then when you get to something like Captain America, for example, which did suffer from its reshoots, yes, but without knowing that at the time, people automatically jumped onto the hate wagon when the reshoots got announced for that one because it was quote unquote an easier target. And that's really just stupid and ridiculous to me because you don't know what the reshoots are going to consist of. You don't know what the problem was. Obviously, we have better understandings of it now, but that just really annoyed me how they pick and choose with that shit. It's like, okay, either you're for reshoots or you're not.
Right. All right. You're here. Cameron with another $5 super chat says, Eric, Mark Waid is doing a new History of the DC Universe short comic run for DC Prime Earth main continuity. How many of these have we seen? Like these redone histories over the years. Look, I should bring this up like on the next stream on Thursday if I remember to do it. I have these table books, like these coffee table books that like these huge books are like the history of Marvel, 1980s,
I have a couple of those too.
The history in the 90s, the history in like the 2000s. And you go back and you read and it's like everybody's backstory gets longer and longer and longer and longer. And it's like these thick books, they're huge.
Yeah. Especially those popular characters, they take up multiple pages of those books.
Yeah. I mean, look, I am a sucker for lore. I love backstory. I love reading about everything. So I love those kinds of things. But yeah, it's crazy to me. It's crazy.
I still think the best thing Mark Waid ever did was the return of Barry Allen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That story. Like his Flash run is, I think, still to this day the single best Flash story that's ever been written.
Steigervor with the 49 super chat. Did anyone mention the Iron Giant? Did that come out?
It's 1999.
From the 90s.
Oh, it was on my list from the 90s.
Yeah, I was about to say because you mentioned it on that one.
Yeah, 100%. No, we didn't mention it this time, but if you go back, I think it was like two episodes back. We talked about it then. So.
Yeah, because it was like favorite 90s movies.
These are episodes. Get it right. It's a legitimate talk show. It's not.
Are we going to get renewed for next season?
It's none of that Party Nation bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's a legitimate talk show. It's not The View.
Right, exactly. Let's see. Cameron Walker, the $5 super chat, said, I'm surprised that nobody mentioned Monster House or Monsters versus Aliens on their list. Monsters versus Aliens, I actually remember. Monster House, I don't.
So, Monster House, I remember. It was never one of my favorites. As far as Monsters versus Aliens, I've never actually seen that movie all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years.
Really?
All the way through.
I am honestly shocked he didn't put up in his list, Eric.
That I didn't put it in my list?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because it's a really good movie. Too.
Oh, it is good. It is good. Look, for the most part, I tried to do things like I wasn't sure if Darren was going to be here. So when I was making my list, I'm like, I love these things, but I want to try and pick things that no one else is going to pick. So I went with like Studio Ghibli stuff because
I stayed away from Pixar on purpose.
Yeah. So
not as like it's a bad thing. I mean, I love that stuff too, but I wanted to give it a little bit more.
We saw the confetti come down. Thank you, Steigervor, for the $1.99 super chat. We had Cameron come in with another $5 super chat, and this one says, has anyone seen Melissa Benoist's new show called The Waterfront on Netflix? I remember, it might have been you, Cameron. Somebody else mentioned this like a month or so ago, and I never got around to watching it. Is it actually out now?
I remember hearing about it, but I haven't seen it. Hold on, let me just...
The Waterfront. Are you going to open your Netflix and look at it?
That's literally what I'm doing, yeah.
It came out June 19th.
Out.
Oh, so it just came out then, like last week. Okay.
8 episodes.
Okay, so what is the premise? What does it say? Jake?
Well, this is the thing of the first episode. With their fishing empire failing, a North Carolina, shout out there, a North Carolina family has only one option to survive: drug smuggling.
Okay, that actually sounds kind of interesting. I might check that out, especially with Melissa Benoist in it, so I might give it a shot.
It made me think of that other CW show too, like, just because we're talking about Melissa here, I just thought of this. So I saw this. This was funny. I watched. Even I had already seen this episode, but I watched the series finale of Superman and Lois with my mom, and we're like, because they still have CW on their TV. I got rid of it off of mine. And they go, "Is there anything worth watching on here?" And we pop up on this series. Never finished it. It was called Swarm. It's like a kind of think Jaws, but a little more sciencey and more weird. And then there's like more, relational drama, things like that. And it just, for some reason, as soon as I was reading that premise, probably because of like the whole fishing ties, I thought of Swarm for some reason. I know that was a long-winded thing.
That's
what?
Okay. Hold on here. Let's see.
Danielle Campbell is also in Waterfront too.
Who is that?
Danielle Campbell.
Daniel Day Kim? Is that who it is?
No, Campbell. Campbell. She was in the originals.
Oh.
And Starstruck. She was the lead. No, wait, not the lead. Yes, the lead. Never mind.
The main thing I knew her from was The Rookie.
All right. So we're going to do something very quickly if you guys have time. Does everybody have like maybe 10 minutes more?
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right, hold on. Let me...
I was about to say, what are the poll options sitting at?
I'm going to check those in a second. Let's see. Hold on, wrong one. Hold on. Why is this not working? Give me a second.
I love the vampire franchise.
Okay, so let's check the poll quickly, and then we're going to do this. All right, let's see what everybody picked. This is going to be for this upcoming Thursday. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, winning by an overwhelming amount on the poll is underused Arrowverse characters.
Yep. I had a feeling that one was probably going to win.
Like 46% of the people that voted. Holy shit, like that's... I don't think we've seen it that far ahead in a long time on the poll. Like, that's crazy.
So I guess I came out with good options then? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. I'm probably going to like suggest that 50% rotten one like every couple weeks or something just to see if it can actually win, because I really want to do that one.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a mock-up of something that I'm going to try and do later on, so we're going to keep it very quick.
Right. She was also in The Runaways. Wow.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to look at the Arrowverse. No, actually, let's look at the DCEU.
What?
Okay. The DCEU. This is going to be very quick, very quick.
Okay.
The DCEU. And we have... Hold on, let me do this. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to say that Brainiac, just think of whatever version of Brainiac you think you want to have, whether it be the animated one or the comic book one, whichever version, the Injustice one, whatever one, is attacking Earth, and you have to pick 3 DCU characters.
DCEU?
DCEU characters, yeah.
Okay.
To face off against Brainiac.
I'm guessing
Okay.
there can be no overlap.
No overlap. So let me roll the dice and see who goes first. And then the chat is going to pick whose team is the one that wins. All right. So we're going to go in order of the same way we did the ranking list. All right.
All right.
So I'm going to roll first for Jake. So remember your numbers. Jake is a 3.
On multiple scales, I'm probably a 3.
3-Dub is a 20. And I am a 9. So 3-Dub goes first. I go second. Jake picks last. All right. So 3-Dub, think of the DCEU. Okay. Anything that came out during that era. And pick your first character. It can be a hero or a villain to populate your team to take on Brainiac. Who is your first one?
Superman.
All right.
Saw that coming.
So that's the first one. All right. So that gives me my option. And since he picked Superman, I'm going to pick Wonder Woman.
That's Jake's.
Oh,
yeah, you're
sorry.
on mine.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, you didn't take my option either. So
I hit the wrong tab. Anyway. There we go. Down 1. Whoops. What am I hitting? All right, here. Wumper. All right. All right, Jake. So now it is your option here.
My first option is the Flash.
All right. There we go. So we're talking about the Ezra Miller Flash, by the way. So.
Hey, he had a fucking time travel sequence where you reset reality, so.
Right. Okay. So we're back at 3-Dub. Who is your number 2?
Going full on powerhouse here. Shazam.
All right. So you're talking about the Shazam from the DCEU, right?
Yeah.
Against Brainiac. All right. All right.
Please don't take mine.
I'm going to go with Cyborg.
Okay. I had a feeling that's what you were going to say, but that's not mine.
Okay. All right. So here's your second one.
My second one is Supergirl.
All right. There you go. And who is your last third choice, 3-Dub?
Batman.
All right. I mean, unconventional because it is the Ben Affleck Batman, so
yeah,
a little unconventional, but that's fine. Yeah. All right. So for my last choice, I had to think about this for a little bit, but I think there is a character that I could use that would absolutely sort of edge out this whole thing because
I feel like we're thinking of the same character.
The hierarchy of power is about to change.
Black Adam.
I'm going to pick Black Adam.
So I'll see what I wanted to do for this last one. I wanted to cheat. So I'll say what I wanted to do, and then I'm going to say what I'm actually doing. What I wanted to do is cheat and go Michael Keaton's Batman.
Well, you could.
I wanted to just for coolness factor, but if we're actually talking about power and like not just cooler characters and things like that,
it's any character that's been in the DCEU counts.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking like if we're actually setting up a team, quote unquote. Yeah, Batman work as a strong. Fuck, do I want to do this and not reveal who else is on my mind? My Keaton nostalgia is kicking in right now. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Throw Keaton on there. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll say who I was going to do instead.
Right.
The other character I was going to pick instead, and this definitely would have been a better match, but I was going to say Darkseid.
Okay. My alternate was going to be Dr. Fate. That was one of my choices as well. So I was going to pick someone else. Okay. With that being said, though, here is the poll.
I just realized everybody that I picked is from the goddamn Flash movie.
Who's chat? You get to decide. There is no right or wrong answer here. It's all chat driven. Chat, you get to pick whose team wins in the poll.
I didn't even realize I did that. Oh wow!
Whose team beats Brainiac? If Brainiac arrived in the DCEU, whose team wins?
Wow! I didn't even realize I did that.
I could have done like any Superman too, because there was like 3 Superman.
Yep,
there was
you could have.
Nicholas Cage
and technically
Henry Cavill.
Technically, the Flash crossed over with the Arrowverse, so you probably could have picked some Arrowverse characters as well.
And I could have picked Christopher Reeves.
You could have. You could have, yeah. You got to be creative with this one.
That's why I went outside the box and said Keaton's Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, we saw him take down a few. We saw him shoot out a few Kryptonians, and he held his own for a while.
All right. The poll's going to stay active. We're going to stay live until 2:10 a.m. for me. So like 3 minutes, and then we'll end the poll.
I'm still internally laughing at that. I did not even realize I did that until the list was done.
That's pretty crazy. I actually could have picked Young Flash. I could have picked the one that turned into Black Flash, technically.
I could have picked Grant Gustin's Flash.
You could have.
Oh, Dark Flash. I was like,
yeah,
it's Black Flash.
Oh, I know it's not technically, but that's like Dark Flash. I thought was a dumb name.
I thought it was Savitar.
They basically, I mean, it was essentially Savitar from the show, but if anything, the design kind of looked like New 52 Reverse Flash with all like the black and the red.
Yeah,
kind of reminded me of that.
Cameron with a $10 super chat says, I think DC is doing the new history of the DC universe from main continuity Prime Earth because DC kept doing self-rebooting main continuity Prime Earth ever since DC did Flashpoint in 2011. Yeah, true. And I mean, like, and then tying everything back to Dr. Manhattan was also really fucking weird with the New 52 stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I should probably, I did a comic book run about 4 days ago. And I actually just got paid today, and I spent a bunch of money on bills because you know how bills are. But I spent a bunch of money on bills, but I have enough left over to do my comic book run. So I will probably go to the comic book shop on Thursday afternoon. Now the question is, should I do a live stream on Thursday from my mobile, like a mobile live stream from a vertical live stream, while I'm at the comic book shop? Because that is one of the things that the chat won, but I was planning on doing it on the weekend. Would you guys want me to do it on Thursday?
Unfortunately, I had to pull the plug on that, so I'm sorry. I wanted to go ahead and let you know about that, about the Virginia thing this weekend.
Oh,
I don't think
was it this upcoming weekend?
Yeah,
this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I had to pull the plug on that. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But let me know if you guys in the chat, if you would be cool with like a vertical live stream, selfie stream, IRL stream with me at the comic book shop on Thursday. Because I can do it on Thursday. I probably won't go this weekend, but I can probably go on Thursday. I have 2 different shops that I go to around here to do my comic book shopping. So thank you for the super chat, Cameron. That was great. I do appreciate it. All right, we are at 2:09, 1 minute to pick whose team wins. We're going to see here.
Now I'm actually curious.
I think Cyborg is a really good matchup for Brainiac. That's why I picked him.
Definitely is. And so, like, the reason I picked, Keaton's Batman is, like, it gives them a Batman on their side. It gives them a strategist. So, like they say in that.
So, while we're going to get ready to run the poll, but let me just run through the teams here. So, Jake, you have Flash, Ezra Miller, Barry Allen, Supergirl, and Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yep.
Versus Brainiac. You do know that Brainiac subjugated Supergirl in My Adventures with Superman, right?
Yes, but I also do know that she was a prominent force against Brainiac in Injustice 2. So
that's true. That's true. Okay, 3-Dub, you have the powerhouse Superman.
Yeah.
You have the idiot Shazam.
Yep.
He's powerful, but he's kind of an idiot. And then you have Ben Affleck's Batman. So I'm going to be honest, 3-Dub, I think you have one good choice on your team.
I have a strategist.
Batman?
No, I think Superman's probably his best choice.
Okay.
I have a strategist.
Right.
That's Batman. Mm-hmm. I have magic. And I have a powerhouse.
I would say that I would not have picked the DCEU Batman, but I would definitely pick Keaton as Batman.
For you, what's kind of funny for you, because you have essentially magic too, and then the next one is, guess what? A strategist.
And a powerhouse.
And a powerhouse.
I think balance was the best way to go because Brainiac is a kind of a combination of all of those things.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I was thinking of throwing in for that last slot. I was like, Darkseid, Steppenwolf, somebody like that. I
yeah,
was gonna
you
throw-
could have picked a villain. You could have
Yeah.
done that 100%.
For a second, I thought Martian Manhunter, but I was like, we never saw him do anything.
All right, so my way of thinking this was I wanted the power of Superman without getting Superman, so I went with the Black Adam.
That's why I went with Supergirl, because that was
Right,
going to get taken.
you gotta have that power level, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought I need somebody that can really fight. So Wonder Woman for me was that. And then I wanted something to kind of counter out the technology of Brainiac, and I thought Cyborg was probably the best option for that. I was kind of on the fence about Black Adam. I almost picked Dr. Fate.
I feel
thought
like
somebody might have said Aquaman.
I kind of
I don't really know if Aquaman would have done good outside of in the
Brainiac
water,
is really smart, right?
Yeah.
And Cyborg is lower smart than he is.
Right.
I think he would hack his system.
Well, the thing is that I was hoping that even if Cyborg was beat by Brainiac, he could distract him long enough for the two powerful characters to sort of do something about it.
See, like, even if like Keaton's Batman were to be beaten, Flash or Supergirl, whichever one is available, could likely do something. And, Flash could fuck up the space-time continuum and mess up everything, but, that's a little bit of a broken answer.
I mean, technically, we could have gone with some of the Suicide Squad characters, too.
They would all fucking die.
Well, like Ratcatcher would have been great, right?
Yeah.
The only mistake I actually
What about
think
Starro? Starro technically could have been picked.
You might as well say Peacemaker at that point.
The only mistake I think I made was Shazam because of the controversy of,
I don't even think that matters. Like, I don't care about the controversy. It's just
I feel like
power of
it's
the
going to be
character.
a pivotal moment for the reason why they don't choose him.
I think Shazam is treated too funny in the second movie. There wasn't a lot of character growth between the first movie and the second movie.
Billy was more mature than Shazam.
I actually like Mary the best in the second movie. But
I should have went with Mary.
because I think Mary has all the same powers essentially. And she's not dumb. Yeah. We ready to do it?
Yeah,
let's reveal it. All right, ending the poll right now. Who won in the battle?
Jake.
Jake got 50% of the vote with his Flash team.
Wow.
So
I came in second with 30%, and poor 3Dub got 20% of the votes.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't expect to win that.
Okay, so the reason why I did this is a preview of what I want to do on a bigger scale. So essentially, when we do this another time, the chat will pick the villain from a list of villains. Then we have to build the team, and it's a team of 5. And then we have to explain why we picked every character.
That's the death battle, okay.
Yes, this is what the death battle would be. And it's basically the heroes are willing to fight to their most powerful to win, but you also have to take into account their weaknesses. Like, would they give up, or how would they feel about fighting in this location, and blah, 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 and things like that. So that's essentially what this would be.
So.
Well, that's because I just wanted to sort of give an idea of what the very bare bones what it would be. So
one of the poll options that you had a while back was a death battle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really want to do that because I think it's a lot of fun to explain like your team.
Yeah.
And what we could do is like it would be like 4 of us. It would be like when we have 4 people, like we'd have to have at least 3,
plus
but
Darren
no more than 4.
I imagine.
Yeah. Because then it would be a little more. It would be tougher to do it because like imagine we say like okay the villain is Magneto from the X-Men movies, but you have to pick from heroes in the MCU. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm thinking about doing.
Scarlet Witch, like that, case closed.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever rolls first picks Scarlet Witch, and that's it. The game over, pretty much. You could always pick Phoenix from the movies. Dark
I mean,
Phoenix.
if you're going MCU, then you couldn't.
Yeah, no. I mean, like if we did one with the with the crossover
movies.
with all of them, with all the Fox X-Men movies.
Yeah, or I mean,
because I mean, technically they are connected to the MCU now because of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you guys for rallying and all of the super chats and the 2 cash apps that I got. I do appreciate that. And we do know now that the bonus is going to be in the next stream, which is let me write this in, underused.
You can do 5 on that if you want.
Characters. Yeah. All right.
You guys came through for me there in the death battle. Thanks.
I know they gave you all the love in the world there. Anyway, again, thanks for all the super chats and all that. last thing before I go, because I know some people came in late. The Discord is going to be opening up for channel members only this week. Ooh. So if you are a channel member on either my Reloaded channel or my Debunks channel, there will be a link posted for Discord for channel members only in the community tab. So if you want to get in early, any tier of channel membership counts. So if you want to go at the lowest tier just to get into Discord, you can do that. And as long as you are part of that tier, you will stay, you'll get a special icon on the Discord. You'll be in a special group on Discord. You'll get a title and all that for being a channel member. And that will start this week. So by the end of this week, those invites will go out. So if you want to get early access, you have to be a channel member. So hit subscribe plus and look through the tiers there and see which one you choose to do to be a channel member. If you are not a channel member and you're wondering when you will be able to join the Discord as just anybody can join, that's going to be sometime in July. So sometime in July, everyone will have access to the Discord. So, but we're going to start out with just channel members. So that's pretty much it. Thank you, 3Dub, for being here. Oh, wait, we got a super chat from Cameron. Swinging through the $5 super chat. Absolute Fash introduced Linda Parks and a female version.
I'm still 2 issues behind. I got to catch up.
Oh. But wait, this has probably been put out on social media by now, though, I would assume, right? I mean, let me check. Hold on.
I mean, I'm not normally one to brag about myself, but props to me for not noticing that prior to now.
Hold on, let's see.
Okay. Oh, it was in the newest issue. It's fine. It's fine, Cameron. I'm not giving you shit.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like the only absolutes I'm reading right now are Batman and Flash.
Let me see something. I want to see if there's a picture of it.
Oh, damn! I just cracked the hell out of my neck. Ow.
I think I heard that too.
Ow. Damn.
Yeah, that sounded crazy. Okay, from what I see online...
Guys, don't become old.
From what I see online, she's not actually Reverse Flash, according to what I've seen. So
once you reach 30, it's snap, crackle, and pop.
I mean, next year, I'm going to be 50.
There you go.
So... I'm pretty fucking old.
Midlife crisis anytime soon?
No, not me. Look, people go through midlife crises when they don't enjoy their life. I have a really good life. I don't have anything to complain about, so I don't feel a reason to do that. But some people do. So I know a few of my friends who are like in their 40s because we're all around the same age or whatever, and they're doing things like getting a million new tattoos, buying new cars, trying new alcohol, doing all those things. And it's pretty funny. So,
I mean, you only live once.
I don't look 45. Do you really? I don't look 50. Is that what you guys are saying?
I thought you were younger than that, actually.
You're well kept, Eric.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I thought you literally color your hair gray and that's it. That's basically your new look.
I do have white. I have salt and pepper in my hair, but yeah, no, I actually do color it white, so I do have
that's
white.
That's why I'm thrown off.
Anytime you see me with the full white beard, it's because I put bleach in it. So
I literally thought you were 37 or something in the younger age.
I've started graying ever since I was 21, so gray came for me relatively quick.
Well, I do know the lighter your hair is, the more likely you are to have gray hair. I do know that, but it is what it is.
There's your hair fact for the day.
The good thing about me was that I decided at a certain point as I was getting older that I just want to live my life the way I feel comfortable, and so my stress levels have been extremely low. So I think that might have something to do with not looking exasperated. I will say this though, shout out to me on this one. All of my friends from high school on Facebook look old as fuck, and I'm just like, how the fuck do they look like people's grandparents and I don't? How did that happen? That's really weird. Some of them are actually younger than me. When I was a senior, they were sophomores and juniors, and I'm like, how do they look that much older than I look? That's crazy.
Yeah, seeing the transformations, especially from people in high school that were younger than you, you look at it and go, what the fuck happened?
Like, I looked today, and I know we're completely off topic, but I want to say this before we sign off.
Yeah.
So I looked today, and someone that I knew in high school, she got married to a guy who was about 3 years younger than me, and he looks so much older than I do. And I'm just like, how did this happen? How did this happen? He's like 46, 47, and he looks like he's late 50s. But they have like 8 kids, so I'm assuming it's because...
The stress from all those kids, probably.
Like, he's just literally like all of that. Like, Lance is going to look a certain way in about 10 years. Like, Lance, if you're watching this on playback, people are going to look at you in 10 years. They're going to be like, that is somebody's grandfather. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it right now.
I mean, he has $4, so he's.
I know it is, and right. And so he's got 4 girls to deal with. He's going to lose his mind. Anyway,
5 if you include
5
his
if you count the wife.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go that far, but I will say so. Anyway, anyway, 3Dub, shout out to you for being here. Yes, having kids ages you a lot, Maestro. Shout out to 3Dub for being here. Thank you so much, and Darren for coming through. Even though he can only stay for like an hour, he still came in on his vacation. I mean, I couldn't ask him to do that, so thank you for like choosing to do that, Darren. You got to stay here through the Ironheart news. By the way, Ironheart tomorrow, 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So everybody watch that. Look, Staggermore, they say black don't crack. And Jake, thank you so much for being here as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to Jake's channel as well.
I got my 10 years of Batman Arkham Knight video coming out tomorrow, so look forward to that.
10 years of Batman Arkham Knight. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier because somebody super chatted about that. Yeah. So, anyway, we're out of here. I will be live again on Thursday for the Nocturnal Nerdcast. I may go live from the comic book shop when I go out on Thursday. So, if you guys want to watch that stream, it probably won't be long, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but I'll do that as well. Thanks, everybody, for the super chats again and the cash apps. You guys are amazing. My kitty cat appreciates it. And we're really close to the goal right here, which we have another stream, so we might get even closer. If we don't, that's fine. You guys are helping no matter what, and I do appreciate it. If you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you're watching this on playback. And we'll see everybody on Thursday. So have a good night. 3Dub, don't make any weird noises, and we're out of here.